Creation.
East Africa Anthem. You're now welcome to take your seats. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning once again. How are we all doing, change makers? Are we doing well? Good morning, change makers. My name is Clifton Nyakundi. I'm the regional manager for Africa at the Health Prize Foundation. It's my honor and a privilege to be here. I'm joined co-hosting this program by Salome, our sign language interpreter for the day. Can we appreciate Salome, please? It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to this impactful session organized by UNICEF, the State Department of Youth Affairs, the IKEA Foundation, the Tony Elumelu Foundation, and the United Bank of Africa, who are our benefactors for this event today. Can we appreciate all of them for the good work and for helping us to be here today? Climate change is an undeniable reality that we face today. It is not just a challenge, but also a catalyst driving the green revolution. This revolution calls for innovative technologies that can generate green jobs, address the climate emergency, and foster prosperity for both people and the planet. In my role in the Health Prize Foundation, I have witnessed firsthand the incredible potential of young minds to drive meaningful change. The energy, creativity, and passion that the young entrepreneurs bring to the table are truly inspiring. Today, I'm thrilled to see Big Green Africa and the Health Prize Foundation aligned in our mission to empower young people to change the world by providing comprehensive training, seed funding, mentorship, and access to crucial networks. Both initiatives are paving the way for a sustainable culture and future. Today's workshop aims to equip you with essential tools for effective planning and financial projections, laying a solid foundation for your business endeavors in the West sector. We will delve into the intricacies of creating and completing business plans, developing executive summaries, SWOT analysis, operational strategies, marketing plans, management plans, financial forecasting, and more. Our goal is to catalyze Kenya's transition to a circular economy through youth-led initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor to invite on stage the Managing Director and CEO of UBA Kenya, Ms. Mary Mulili, to give us her opening remarks. Can we appreciate her as she comes forward? Let's appreciate her one more time until she gets here. Let's keep appreciating Osichoke. Let's appreciate her. Thank you so much.
I thought this will also be green. Just on a lighter note. Good morning, everyone. I feel so energized being in a room of so many young people, and young people speaking about a topic that most people have avoided for so long. And just seeing the level of interest, and when I looked at the timelines that we gave for this workshop, was pretty short. And I can see Catherine and the team from UNICEF, you're almost having a full room. And it gives us a courage as a nation that we're on the right direction, and we have a lot of people that are really committed to achieve this mission. And also for you, I think it's a good time to be young when we are talking about issues of climate, when all of us have gotten the awakening call with what we've seen happening globally in terms of those effects of climate, and that we are more aware and we are willing to put in time, resources to address the matters of climate change. So Be Green Africa is an innovative and transformative green entrepreneurship program, and it's aimed at addressing the issues of unemployment across Africa. These are first of a kind in collaboration with the Tony Elumelu Foundation, UNICEF, Generation Unlimited, and IKEA Foundation, and also the government of Kenya. We are focusing in nurturing and empowering the young entrepreneurs in green and waste sectors, fostering sustainable development and creating economic opportunities for the marginalized youth. And specifically today, the conversations will be around waste management. And if we bring it closer home to Nairobi County, I think we saw what happened with the floods just a few weeks ago. And really, you can't take this away from how we've been managing our waste. We've been so reckless in terms of how we've been managing this. The objectives of this initiative, one is to advance the social and economic prosperity, also to address the crises that have been there by creating inequalities in our communities, and also creating sustainable livelihoods. The program is aimed at training and scaling up 1,000 Kenyans, and you are part of that team, and also to economically empower 120 of them. Where do we sit as UBA in this conversation? For us, is to ensure that we build entrepreneurial skills in this sector, in the green sector. We also want to see sustained revolution in Africa. And as a bank currently, we operate in 20 African countries. However, in terms of the scope of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, we cut across all the countries in the continent. And not only in the green initiative, which is specifically done, but also in the other sectors that we've looked at. And I've seen some of our alumni in the room. I've seen Maureen here, who's also walked that journey with us. We've had successful entrepreneurs from 54 countries. In this country alone, as of last year, we were at about 800 of them. And we gave a seed capital of $5,000 to this group of initiatives. And also we work with them in terms of capacity building and also creating markets for them and forums. I know Maureen was to speak here. She was with the chairman just a few weeks ago. They were in Saudi Arabia in some of those forums that they were looking at. So even for her and others, taking those global stages in terms of engagements and being a part of policy, not only for Kenya, but globally. So how will we support as UBA? One is financing. And of course, for you to finance, apart from having the idea, and that's why I like the conversation today, you must be very clear in your thought, be able to do the business plan, look at the numbers at the end of the day. How are the numbers going to look like once you do your business plan? Again, mentorship, I spoke about it. We're also going to provide mentorship. Market access. I've spoken about the markets that we operate in Africa, 20. We are also in 4 continents. We're in UAE, we're in France, we're in UK, and we're in the US. So again, it gives you that scope in terms of market access and linkages with other people. And also to drive entrepreneurship readiness. This is just a stepping stone. Once you go through this opens you up to other opportunities in the business. And for you to be attractive to the bank, not only UBA, but even other institutions that will be looking to look at investments or propositions in this space, you need to be able to be innovative in the idea that you come up across. And I like what the speaker said earlier. He's seen a lot of innovations, and that is what we are looking at, because today's problems need people who are very innovative, looking at different ways of doing it. We've been there for many years, and we see where we are. So we need really innovative solutions to address the issues of climate that we see. And the ideas must be sustainable and have a strong commitment to social and environmental impact. The business model must be very clear and must have a clear value proposition from where you sit. And as the innovator, you must have done a clear market analysis. Identify the problem, done the market analysis. What are the solutions already in the market? Where do you see the gap? And how can you fill that gap in an innovative and sustainable way? In conclusion, I'd want to extend our gratitude to our key partners, the Tony Elumelu Foundation, UNICEF, Care Foundation, the government of Kenya, for their unwavering belief in the youth of Africa. And we also express deep appreciation to you, the young entrepreneurs who have committed their dreams and vision in this space that otherwise most people would actually avoid. Be Green Africa is more than a program to us. It is a movement towards sustainable and prosperous future for African youth. By empowering the young green entrepreneurs, we are laying a foundation for a greener, more equitable Africa. And UBA is proud to be a part of this journey and supporting the next generation of leaders in this very timely and really needed segment. We wish all the participants success in your entrepreneurial journeys. And I would like to invite everybody to actively participate in the deliberations. I think the energy that I've seen this morning, I would encourage you to carry it along, because I believe if we dedicate that time, the solutions for our problems now and the future will be fully addressed. Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can we keep appreciating Ms. Mary Mulili one more time? Thank you so much for the opening speech. I know you've spoken about financing, and I think as young entrepreneurs, we have so many, social ventures, so many great ideas. It is great to have partners like the UBA Bank, United Bank for Africa. Can you say with me? United Bank for Africa. They're uniting all their resources for the continent of Africa. To learn that you have shared and spent about $5,000 in previous cohorts is really encouraging. I hope the bank will be able to support many more ventures from the room. Thank you for mentioning that you'll be providing mentorship opportunities, market access and linkages to over 20 countries. Are we happy about that? Meaning your business can easily scale if you're able to share, like she said, a clear business plan. The idea must be sustainable and a good market analysis. And I know we are all taking notes of that. Next up, first, before I introduce the next speaker, I'd like to recognize the Tony Elumelu Foundation Kenya Chapter alumni. Are you in the house? Tony Elumelu, can you rise to your feet, please? Tony Elumelu Foundation Alumni Kenya Chapter. Just rise to their feet, to your feet. Let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate them. Thank you so much for coming here today. You should speak to them. They have experience. They've walked the journey before you, and I'm sure they have a lot to share with you. From UNICEF Kenya, Unitalk Manager, Mr. Brian Kerr, welcome on stage. Let's appreciate him. Put your hands together for Mr. Brian Kerr. Thank you. Adi afike hapa mbele. Let's appreciate him one more time. Thank you so much.
The Managing Director, BA Bank, all protocols observed. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. You know, I know for Nairobi, it's not good morning, it's not Niaje, it's Godha. Godha? Godha? It's nice to see you. We have come so far, haven't we? We've come so far. I've forgotten. My name is Brian Kerr. I am the Unitalk manager. How many years are Unitalkers? So this is, I can run for MCA. Look at those numbers. Unitalk manager, we've been speaking online through my SMSs. I normally denote them as Mkuu. So finally you meet Mkuu. And it's so nice to see you guys. We started off from roughly 3,000 applications. And so far you are 2,000. And you're almost finishing the journey. And I feel beneficiaries from other programs. I'm sure there are beneficiaries from the out-of-school program in this room. They are here. I'm sure there are the GNU beneficiaries in this room who have benefited from the UNICEF program. So this meeting is more of how do you ensure that we finish well? How do you ensure that you don't get to miss out on this? How do you ensure you use the same strength of tunagodha tena, tumalize with power? Sindio? So kwa vijana, I know when we speak English, it looks like it's so much formal. It is not. In short, if I translate it into French, hii meeting tumekikisha nyinyi wote mnapata chance equal kupata ido ya hii program. Si ndio? Hatuko hapa juu ya good vibes and inshallah. Biashara zigrow, vijana wako empowered, na pia at least tuomoke. Si ndio? Kuomoka ni a must. Shida ni DCI. Si ndio? So with the young people spirit, with the young people energy, let's use this session fully. Let's ensure that we ask questions. It's a full day session. Kama uko na shida business plan, if you have the problem with pitching, if you are stuck in the waste management module, we'll have alumni in this session to help you. In the end, tutafanya nini? Godha? Back to the MC. Thank you.
Can we appreciate Mr. Brian Kerr? Godha. Thank you so much. So one of the qualities of a good entrepreneur is confidence. Say confidence. And since we have UNICEF here, we have all our partners here today. We're going to take the next 10 minutes to hear from you, the participants. We'd like you to share how your journey has been and any feedback you have to our benefactors. Umesikia bank iko na do. Do you need more of the money? You need to qualify why. So I'd like you to raise your hand if you're all sharing your journey so far. Feel about the modules, how have the modules been for you? Anything you'd like added, anything you'd like removed from the trainings, and then, yeah, our benefactors are here to listen to you. Anyone, any confident entrepreneur? Thank you so much. Can we appreciate? Come forward. Anyone else? Thank you. Can we appreciate her? Anyone else? Thank you. Please come forward. Let's appreciate them, all of them. Kujeni mbele wenye mmeinua mkono. Anyone else? Ni watu wa nyuma peke yake kumbe. All right. Thank you so much. So tell us the country you're from and share your feedback. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Anthony Makanga. So I'm from Nairobi County, Kasarani based. My question was easy. The module that the Big Green Africa you generated was, it was good. I appreciate for that. But towards the financial plan, it was tricky. Considering maybe after you have, for me, I'm talking about my own tricky part, whereby after I filled those forms and it generated, it recalculated itself, but the problem came after I've submitted the financial report, that financial plan, but I realized that it turned to be a negative because I believe that my idea was unique, and I consulted the financial advisors, but at the end, after submitting it, only to realize that it was negative. Like the first year, positive, and even as a leader, no business can go more than 10 years with the loss, and it was like I fucked up, and it's like my everything. It is my end. So if maybe you can give me advice, maybe you cancel the first business plan, and maybe reconsider that. That was my challenge. Anthony Makanga.
Thank you, Anthony. Can we appreciate Anthony? Thank you. Anthony, have your seat. So I know our trainers are in the room. So one of the things I know with the mentors around, please share that financial plan with the mentors before you leave so that they can be able to look at it and give you advice. Sometimes calculations can have a mishap one place or another. So that's why we have the mentors in the room, and that's why we have this program. So please do not die with your challenges. That's where we.
My name is Frederick Odhiambo. I'm from Nairobi County. My question is, if you check at the link through the training is awesome. It's good. It's nice. The only challenge is this, that my idea is still the stage is idea. I still don't have the business, an idea stage. I was just asking that. I know the process is challenging. There are some ups and downs through the training. I'll just request that even if someone has tried somewhere, please let us just even encourage him with something small, not the 5,000, but also even the $1,000. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So you want your idea to be funded at the idea stage? Okay. Well, I know our. Thank you. So I'm sure UBA is listening. Thank you. Please come. I think we'll all be speaking from this side so that we have even the sign language, being aired live. Thank you so much. Your name, county.
Good morning. My name is Jane Rose Gatobu. I'm from Kiambu County. I think I'm speaking from the perspective of I have done the Tony Elumelu application before Big Grain. So I'm speaking from that perspective and then being part of Big Grain. So thank you so much for the changes that you've made, because now it's applicable to people in the green business. The one before was more general business, and there was no support of if you're getting into green businesses, how do you go about that? So the program has been very helpful. So I think from my experience from the program before, is there a way for the information that we have for Big Grain on the portal, can people be able to access that after? Like you're able to get the attachments and the documents so that you're able to read that after, especially people who are in the stage of an idea, they'll need to find a way to refer to information that they've gotten from that, after the program. So it would be nice for people to access their attachments after, because now they're more of reading. You're only able to access them on the portal, but for Tony Elumelu before, you're able to access them after. And then I think I'm also asking the team to be able to support. I think many people are in the stage of business ideas. If there's a way, even not just monetary, if there's a way, there's a follow-up of people who are in the business idea stage to get, when people are knocked out of the program and the people are given money, they don't know what's the problem. What is it that I didn't do right? What is it I should do? So if there's a possibility to have a follow-up program, workshops like this, and just even if you have to split people into groups and people are able to be helped, because there are people with amazing ideas, but they don't know they were kicked out. Why? Because there's usually no time to tell people the why they were kicked out. So you can support and help them after that. And you could find that there are people who get kicked out now, but there'll be amazing people that you can be able to give the funds for the next cohort. So if you're able to support that so that you're able to understand what levels everybody is at as you're kicking them out. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. We have only 2 minutes left, so you keep it brief. Your name and county, just stand here and then share quickly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Margaret Wanjiru Boniface. So my question is, I'm actually at the business idea stage. I haven't yet grown my business yet. I had this business idea. Okay, I won't mention what it is, but now I started looking and getting to check the funds, the amount of the equipment that I need, and then I'll check, and then I looked at the amount of money that Tony Elumelu is UBA is funding us. I was kind of discouraged because I was like, will I make? Because actually, let me not lie, my business idea, I've not seen it in Kenya. I've shown it to so many people who are into business and they're like, it's a good one. But again, so I was like, if I open up to, if I get a chance even to like meet someone like you, is it possible or like, how am I going to put it?
Thank you. Let's appreciate her. Thank you so much. Yeah, so please always share your idea because these are potential clients. What you want on the idea stage is feedback, feedback, feedback. And you don't have to start with $10,000. You can start with 500 shillings to validate the idea. Sawa sawa. So some of these questions non common as idea, but anyway, thank you so much. So 30 seconds, okay? Name, county, and your feedback. So thank you.
Okay, good morning. I'm Martin Joseph from Meru County. What I would like to say is that the training was nice. I got some things that assisted me or that they are going to build me in the journey of entrepreneurship. So what I could just is that once I was done with writing the business plan, I tried to do the pinching or to upload the business plan, but my email, once I log in, it says that it does not exist in their database. So I'm failing to understand how does it not exist while I did all the training, and they are the one, initially I've done the application of, which was there from January to March, and I had a good business plan or business idea that I thought it could be the best in Africa because it related with something to do with green energy, and of which in Kenya currently it's when we are approaching the green energy. So I thought it was going to be the best. I've not qualified, I try another time. So the second chance, they are telling me that the email is not in their database. So kindly assist me to know where is this problem coming from.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate them as they sit. Moving on swiftly, we have our next speaker, Mr. Henry Maina, trainer, International Youth Fellowship. Henry Maina, welcome on stage. Let's put our hands together. Are you ready for training? Are you ready for training? Goda? I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Good morning. Muko freshi? Yes, nashukuru. My name is Henry Kuria Maina, and I am a trainer. And I'll be very brief because I understand the program is a little bit kind of tight. But from where you sit, I want to do a small exercise as I prepare the presentation in front of you. Can you write for me at least 3 main challenges that you think are the biggest challenges that you are coming across when you're trying to come up with a business plan or trying to come up with your business ideas? 3, just 3. You can list them in terms of priority. My biggest challenge is number 1, biggest challenge is number 2, biggest challenge number 3. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm going to be limited to the podium for the purposes of the live coverage. Are you through with the three? Very quickly. I'm waiting for the PowerPoint presentation. Yes, yeah. You have your three challenges. Okay. The reason why I've given you this exercise is because sometimes people tend to think that as you do this, and even from the people who are giving their feedback here, that it's going to be a smooth sail. I can assure you that life is never a smooth sail. Also in terms of business, it's never a smooth sail. There are those challenges that you encounter, but how do you go about those challenges? Maybe by a show of hands, how many people are living the life that they planned when they were young? I'm living the life that I truly planned to live. Huh? Anyone in the house? And then they can give us a trick. Wow, there is one. Let's clap for her. Yes. Like I planned to be a doctor and became a doctor. Like from those stages. You know, there's a way that you plan to be a doctor and then you end up being the patient in the last minute. Why I'm saying something like this is because we always encounter challenges, but there's one aspect that we should always have at the back of our minds is that life, the beauty about life is that it comes with complexity and challenges. And without challenges and without the complexity and the diversity of life, then it is not life. And in the business world, it is the same. There's no way you can talk about a business plan or a business idea without you actually thinking about the challenges that are going to be ahead of you. For example, whoever plans to have cancer? No one. Whoever plans to have a divorce? No one. Whoever plans to have an accident? No one. But do those things happen? Yes, they do. When they happen, how do you actually overcome? Or what criteria do you use to actually overcome those? That is why, for me, I'm looking upon what we're calling resilience. Resilience is something of which each and every one of you should learn even before you begin. Because once you're born in this world, they welcome you to a world of challenges. Once you start thinking about a business plan or a business idea, even for the people seated, I don't know whether it's everybody being funded. Is it everybody being funded? Sindio? So what does it mean? There's competition, Sindio? And therefore it calls for you even to be more resilient, for you to be more strong, for you to be more active. So all these kind of things are things of which you will come across. But maybe the next slide, there is, I'll be actually focusing on one. Yes, next slide kindly. Yes, I don't know whether you've come across such kind of a plant. It goes by the name of Rose of Jericho, or the resurrection plant. You know, this plant, when you look at it, do you think it's living right now? The way it looks, does it look as if it's surviving? Much in fact, it's a dry shrub. If you look at it, watu wa ushago ama watu ambao wamezoea kuwasha moto, if you actually to light a fire, this would be the best to go for, because it's dry and it seems as if there is nothing that can actually come out of it. But something amazing is that from this Rose of Jericho, or from the resurrection plant, something amazing happens. It can travel across the desert as it gets blown by the wind, miles and miles. Even for 10 years, 20 years, it can just be the way you see it as a shrub. But something amazing is that there is at a point whereby it is able now to thrive. Maybe we can play the video. There is a video I had prepared, a very small video clip that I had prepared. I'm trying to be brief as possible. Control room, kindly. Control room, the video for the resurrection plant. Please watch and the video. The video. I'm going to be talking about three main things as you watch the video kindly. I'll summarize my short presentation on three main points. As you watch the video kindly, realize how the resurrection plant comes to be. Okay, as we wait for the video, I can give you my 3 points. Number one is that you have to think differently. Point number one is that you have to think differently.
Sahara, rain does sometimes fall, and that is sufficient.
We can hear the sound, we can't see the picture, the video itself. So I said point number 1 is think differently. Point number 2 is work as a team. And point number 3 is show up. You have to show up. So those are the 3 points that I want to speak about. I don't know whether the video is ready. Okay, if not the case, then these are some of the challenges I'm talking about. Life is full of challenges. Sasa, yes, even at such a moment when I'm trying to speak about challenges, they're still presenting themselves. We are good? Okay. Based on time factor, I think we can skip if it's not ready. Okay, let's, we all agree, everything in the world is changing. Sasa, if you look upon how people used to take photos long time ago and how people take photos nowadays, everything is changing. Much in fact, they say that if you're not willing to change, change will change you. Sindio? That is why even in the business world, right now, the only people who can thrive are the people who are thinking in a different way. Are you getting this? The only people who can become successful and the businesses that can thrive are the only businesses that are thinking in a different way, doing new things. Doing new things. This is why I want to talk about thinking differently. You have to think of a new thing. Do it in a new way. Much in fact, I have a mentor, and my mentor usually tells me, if you're the person who is doing the same thing as you did it yesterday, you're already a failure. Okay? If you're the person who is doing the same thing as you did yesterday, then you're already headed for failure. Why? Is because the world is so competitive that right now you can't be able to operate in the same way that you operated yesterday. If you look upon companies like Nokia, okay? Look upon companies like Kodak, okay? There are so many that they were not able to evolve, they were not able to think about a new thing. And through that, then they actually could not be able to thrive within the marketplace. That is why it's very important for you to dwell upon the first point, that is thinking differently or thinking of a new way. For the failure that the video has not played, we can go back to the PowerPoint, then I can proceed with the PowerPoint. Now, the video is called The Resurrection Plant. Maybe at your own free time you can watch. Sasa, it's called The Resurrection Plant. Why? Is because this plant, once it gets a drop of water, it's enough for it to thrive once more, okay? That is why I'm calling upon, no matter the is that you're going through, no matter what is it that it seems to be like a hurdle, once you're able to think differently and think of a new way and think of a new idea, then that will actually make you thrive once more, okay? Yes, so kindly let's go back, forget the video, let's go back to the PowerPoint. And then there is a famous painter. You know who is one of the most famous painter that we have? Hello? Picasso, Sindio? No, one day they were in a forum like this, and there was a rich guy who was actually thinking about, he has heard about Picasso. It was his first time to meet Picasso. So what he did, he gave Picasso a challenge. Hey, I hear that you're the greatest painter or drawer. So what you're going to do is that you're going to draw me a beautiful lady with only 4 lines. Hello? Can you try? So you've just talked about thinking differently, Sindio. Can you try drawing a beautiful lady with 4 lines? Just try. Try drawing a lady with, a beautiful lady with only 4 lines. Yes, 4 lines only. Huh? I'm tempted to come down. Usually my trainings, I'm not limited to staying on the podium. I'm tempted to come down and see what is it that you're drawing. Just 4 lines. Just 4 lines. Just 4 lines. Look at what your neighbor has drawn and try and check. What is it that they are drawing? Is it a beautiful lady? Huh? Is it a beautiful lady? PowerPoint. Tuko sawa? I don't know. If I had a chart, then I would actually draw what Picasso drew. But it's somehow a little bit ashamed. Ni kidogo ni kitu ya aibu. Sasa, yes? When you look at what actually Picasso drew, because as I told you, the gentleman was a rich guy, and then he told Picasso, if you draw me the best picture of a beautiful lady with only how many lines? 4 lines, I'll give you $1,000. Like, hapa saa hii. Sasa, si mimi, ni huyo jamaa alikuwa anaambia Picasso. Sasa, yes, okay? So, Picasso actually thought about it in a very different way. Because this rich guy thought that Picasso cannot be able to draw a beautiful lady with only 4 lines. But Picasso thought it and drew it within a few minutes. And then, when this guy was talking on this other side and turned to this other side, Picasso handed a drawing of a beautiful lady with 4 lines to him. That's what I'm saying. If the PowerPoint was okay, I would have shown you. But with a disclaimer, sasa, now I don't have a chart. Also, I cannot be able to draw it for you. But do you have phones? Sasa, kuna wengine already washaingia Google na wakaangalia. Can you type Picasso drawing of a beautiful lady with 4 lines? If you look at the drawing with a disclaimer, I'm giving you a disclaimer. Sasa, yes, but Picasso drawing of a beautiful lady with only 4 lines. Kuna mtu amepata? Yes, you found it? With a disclaimer. Yes. So, yes. Can you confirm? Is it a lady? It's debatable. Then confirm for me. Is it 4 lines? Yes, 4 lines. No, when people think about a beautiful lady, they only imagine and they're limited towards thinking only towards one side. Sasa. But for Picasso, he thought it differently. He thought of it in a new way, in a new idea. Okay? And he was able to earn his $1,000. Not only that, but this drawing and this kind of painting, the drawing itself, the sketch, actually sold at a very big, rate. Sasa. Yes. In the house, are you okay? You found the picture? Mwenye hajaona pia neighbor can show the other one, sindio? But as I said, with a disclaimer. Okay? So when you look upon how life is that actually for you to thrive in this world, you have to think in a different way. Sasa, are you okay, everyone? Yes, you have to think of a new way. That is why when you look at Kipchoge Keino, 159, when everybody is saying it is impossible to run a marathon under 2 hours, for him he's thinking it is possible. Sasa. So think of it in a new way. And then the second point, as I said, is you need to work as a team. The biggest problem that we have within our society right now is that it has become of me, myself, and I. People are not willing to share ideas. People are not willing for mwenzako aomoke, wewe unataka kuomoka na uomoke peke yako. Yet I can tell you for sure, with that kind of an ideology, it is going to be very difficult for you. You need to consult, you need to ask questions, you need to even acknowledge that you don't know for the purposes of you asking, and I'm very glad for the people who stood in front here to actually even ask, because one thing they acknowledge is that it is okay that I don't know. Sindio? Then from that point of view, it's very important that even as you work towards having a business plan and any business idea, then you should always think of how you need other people beside you to actually help you with those ideas. Sasa, then the other thing is, many people are not willing to show up. Many people are shying off in terms of, maybe my business idea is not good or something like this. I love the gentleman who talked about his idea, and at least pia afikirie hata kama atapushua off, even that small idea should be recognized in one way or another. So people actually, and especially the youth, right now we are at a point whereby we need to actually show up, we need actually to come forth, and even, those business ideas that you have, no matter how small it seems, it is okay. Sasa, no matter how foolish it may seem to be, it is okay. I loved even the lady who is thinking of a way that, there is now business like this in Kenya. I love that, because those are the kind of aspects that now we need to think about, and we actually need also to show up and present those kind of ideas. To leave you with, I'll tell you about one thing, is that you may not be able to change everything, and you cannot be able to change everything. But there's one thing that can change everything: your mindset. Sasa, the way you perceive things. You cannot change everything, but there's one thing that can change everything: your mindset, your attitude. Sasa, yes. By this, I leave you with the last reference that as you go, please watch a guy called Nick. Nick, born without hands, born without legs. Sasa, yes, but no arms, no legs, no worries. Why? Is because he's able to see things from a different perspective. The same to you. If you're able to see things from a different perspective, have new ideas, think differently, work as a team, and also show up, then I am 100% sure that you guys are going to be the most successful people, irrespective whether you qualify for this one or you don't qualify for this one, but you are people who can be able to make it and thrive even within the most competitive arenas that you have. So thank you very much. I want to end it here. Na asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate Henry. Come on, let's appreciate him much better. Thank you for those insights that you have just shared. Before we proceed, how many of us are on Twitter? If you're on Twitter, great, a good number of us. I would like you to know that we are trending on Twitter. And I'd like us to do a very quick exercise. Sawa, let us remove our phones. I want you to take a quick selfie with your neighbor and share on Twitter with the hashtag #BeGreenAfrica. Tumepata instructions. Okay, our phones, hata mimi nitachukua a selfie with all of us. Ati Wi-Fi. Ati Wi-Fi. Come on. Tuanze na picha kwanza. Okay? Aya. Wengine mnaweza pause na mimi. Okay. Thank you. Alafu sasa tunatuma huko Twitter watu wajue it's not just the finance bill. There's Big Green Africa going on today. Sawa sawa. And then next X. Thank you, X. Yeah, please post on your X. Next up we're going to do some questions. I know we had asked some questions before, and Brian Kerr is here to give a quick response. Is there anyone with any questions before I invite Brian Kerr to give a quick response? Anyone? Thank you. Okay, please come.
Good morning. My question is, Sateme nili apply business plan nikiwa na partners. So my business had partners, but along the way imefika me na my partners kama government I work, so tumepart ways. what inasaidia jeneza. Is it advisable mtu anaweza kuja again na another business plan akuwa peke yake ama it's a wrap? Thank you. I'm Charles.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate him. Brian is here to give us responses to the earlier questions and to the question that has just been asked. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll respond to the first question. It was more of support. What will we do with if you don't get the funding, if you miss out, or if you get the funding but you're still in a stage that you cannot proceed? So there's a gentleman in this room, is called Eric Nyamwaro. Eric, kindly stand. So Eric will be providing support post and pre. So the businesses that feel that need day-to-day support, the businesses that feel that in the ideation stage and they need to grow, but they did not get the funding as well. Eric works for STEM Impact Center. So in the afternoon or even in the after break session, Eric will be there to provide support. Please link up with him, explain to him your needs, he'll be able to support. We've worked with Eric with other innovation challenges, and he's done a great job. Sawa. That was the first question. To the question of you apply the business together, but relationships are you work. What we do is we will cross that river when we reach there, because it's quite easy for the different three members to want to apply. So looking at who was the prime applicant for the challenge, and then seeing if you're parting ways, is it on mutual basis or what the problem is. Sometimes too, you guys need space and then you'll come back and reconcile. So you'll be able to see what to do with that. There was a question around you apply and then you put in your email, but you still get an error. I think there's a gentleman who raised that. Unaweza niona nyuma ya tent, you can see what the problem is. Another question that came about was some of you are not getting the codes. There are technical questions. We'll be able to address the technical questions maybe in the afternoon session. But if you have any major support or what can I say, support, engagement, structure of the business plan, pitching, you stuck on some modules, we'll be having a one-on-one session in the afternoon and we can be able to address that. But the questions, keep them coming. I think there'll be slots in between the sessions that I can be able to respond to some of the questions. Sawa. Si tuseme basi goda. Sawa.
All right, thank you so much. Ni wangapi wamepost Twitter? Oh, sorry, X. Ni wangapi wameweka picha kwa X? Inua mkono. Unajua huwezi jua, kunaweza kuwa na gift napatiana. Raise your hand kama umesha post. Asante. Please, let's keep naitwaje? Tweeting ama Xing. Let's keep Xing as we proceed with the event. Sasa nataka kuinvite next on stage. It's my greatest honor to invite Miss Maureen Amakabane, my apologies, founder Nyayo Soko Moms, to take us through the next session of training. Able to appreciate Bazo nakuja stage. Come on, guys. Let's appreciate her. Thank you so much. Usichoke. Let's watu wa nyuma. Thank you so much. Yes. Meanwhile, as you text, remember you're using #BeGreenAfrica. #BeGreenAfrica. Feel free to tag UNICEF Kenya. Feel free to tag UBA Bank. And yes, asante sana, karibu.
Asante, niaje. By the way, yo greeting ni Godha ama inendaje? Ni Gota but not Godha. Okay, sawa. Godha? Okay, so my name is Maureen Amakabane, and I'm getting the slides for the business plan. I'll say a few things based vitu zimesemwa leo ku demystify na pia ku encourage. So my name is Maureen Amakabane. I'm actually a serial entrepreneur, and I am a serious beneficiary of the multiple opportunities that the Tony Limoli program provides for us in the continent. So number one, I got into the Tony Limoli program with my sanitation business, which is really in waste management. So it was an idea that I just launched into the market, and then I saw the opportunity, I applied, and then I got the training, I submitted the business plan, nearly struggled na finances. There are many things I know about life, but one of my strengths is not in finance and accounting. So at that point, nilirudishwa hiyo financial modeling kama mara 6. Unatuma, inarudi. You send it, it's sent back. Change this, change that. Eventually, I had to bring in a friend of mine who is a financial expert ndo akanisaidia. So that is the first tip. Most of you have resources amongst yourselves. So if you're struggling with your financial model and your business strength is not in finance, tafuta msee. Hapo tuko WhatsApp group. Uliza nani amefanya finance? And then mwambie hebu nisaidie na hii. Because sometimes you might be struggling alone na kuna solution within yourselves. Hata tu neighbor wako anaweza kuwa msali graduate, amemaliza kampo, amefanya finance na anajua kitu ya kufanya na anaweza kukusaidia. So that's the first challenge that I want to pose there. The second thing that somebody said is about the same person when alisema juu ya profitability. Yes, you can actually run a business for 15 years and it is not profitable. So you have to understand the type of business you're running. Most of the time, sanitation businesses are capital intensive. That means unaeka domob, alafu ina take so much time for you to be profitable. The only thing na generation yetu ni, ama generation yenyu na yenye inafuata, tuko kwa online space. Na sometimes kwa online space, wasa wanatushow, nilianza biashara jana, na sitaki kupeana example lingine imetumika sana. Nilianza biashara jana, na kesho unaona msee ana ride Mercedes, ana ride biashara. By the way, you're see true. By the way, that's not the reality of business. Business is dedication, it is hard work. By the time you can actually get to afford that Mercedes-Benz, you've put in time. Profitability, in fact, my first degree is in business. Na nakumbuka the first thing we learned was, the first intention of our business is to be sustainable, to grow, and then eventually to make profit. Na nika mtoi wa 3 months, ile chakula nakula, si mtoi wa 9 months anakula. So always look at your business as a child. But kuna mtoi ata grow faster. And the good thing about this generation ni, the internet has provided opportunities and an opportunity for you to scale faster. And then I want to speak to you. You had an opportunity to sell to us your business, but you can decide it's too nice or it's too, okay, it's really nice and I believe you, but most of the time when you stand on a stage like this and you have an audience, you don't know when your next investor is going to be or where your next investor. So as a business owner, always be committed to sell and walk your business journey. So don't be shy, don't be afraid, always talk about your business. You may not tell us what it is, but tell us the name. At the very least, tell us the name. So I had leaned into your story, and then he said, Sitawaambia, but does it have a name? Does the business have a name? Or it's still an idea? Even if it's an idea, always just have that courage and the confidence to sell it, because you never know where your luck will find you. And that speaks to the next thing about what one of the strong beliefs that the Tony Limelu Foundation says is the idea of democratizing luck. There's over 2,000 applicants, but eventually only 120 are going to get the opportunity to get the $5,000 seed capital. And luck plays a big role, but luck must find you ready. So of course you've gone through the training, you've done all that, but you'll also, and I'm about to take you through some of the things or some of the things that you need to look at when you're submitting your business plan so that you put in a strong application. But sometimes luck plays a very big opportunity, a very big chance in your life. Democratizing luck is one of the things. If you listen to the founder's video, he talks about democratizing of luck. So you may just be the lucky person. So that is why I always tell people, ata kama ni wase 2,000, make sure me submit among those 2,000. So don't be discouraged. Ensure that you put in the application and ensure that you submit it, because you just might be the lucky person on that day. Luck, lady luck might be on your side. And then, even if you submit your business plan, and this is now me encouraging you, and it is not selected, I want to tell you, it is still a good business idea and it is still viable. It doesn't, just because you didn't make it to the 120 people that will get the seed capital, it doesn't mean your business idea is bad. It actually means you just have the next chance to continue developing it and putting it out in the market. Because most of the people have had Wakobado idea stage. But now, through the training program, I strongly believe that you've gotten the right skills for you to take your product to market. Now, usiogope. And that is my next business lesson. I mentioned that I have a business in sanitation. And sanitation is a capital-intensive business. It means it requires a lot of money, which I'm building it step by step by step. Over time, I may require, in the long term, actually what I need is around 20 million shillings. But when the foundation gave me $5,000, I went and I validated. I took that money, I took it to a specific component, because remember we had a business plan, which I believe most of you are now working on. So you may actually choose to take this $5,000, for example, if you're an idea, to say, let me now brand the business. So you will engage a graphic designer, akutengeneze logo, akuambie unafaa kufanya hivi, and then now you say, I'll also spend this money to invest in marketing. So it may look like a very small amount of money compared to what you're looking for, but it will fit somewhere in your business plan. Sinyote mnafanya business planning? So there's a tool you're using called a business plan. So pretty much what that means is you're now understanding your business into manageable pieces. You have a big, ukipiki ugali kitoka kwa sufuria, so you wakubwa. It is usually so big, and then it is served in one plate. And then you take it, una slice, and then now you put it on your plate and eat it in the piece you can manage. Ata ikiwa kwa sahani ya uchukui yote unaifinya mara moja. Unachukua, unakata kadogo, unachukua mboga, unachukua kasukuma, unaingiza. Wase wengi wanasema wanapenda ugali, ndio maana natumia example ya ugali. When their favorite food was asked. So you take this ugali from the sufuria into a plate, it is one big bowl. Then you take it and cut it down into manageable pieces. Zenye itatosha kwa mdomo yako. Na mdomo zetu sote ni tofauti. So also the business plan is giving you an opportunity to be able to understand your business into little segments. Now, I also run another business, which is called Nyawamam Sokos. And it is a very vibrant business. And by the way, that business, I started it with only a SIM card. Not just SIM card. Actually, nilikuwa already na SIM card yangu na nikafungua tu WhatsApp group. And now that business has grown into a it's more of a movement, because we support women-led businesses to actually grow their businesses and train them. But here's a lesson that I picked from that business. You know, people used to say, you don't need money to start a business. I used to think it's a lie. Then this business actually, I didn't start it with, I used the resources that I have in my space. So what I'm also encouraging you to do, take a back step, look at where can you start your business in a very viable plan. I know I want to grow into Africa, I want to grow into the world, but I started from where I live. The community I live in, the community that I love, the community that I lived in, I started there and then I grew outbound. So those are some of the little things. And then if you're in business, I'd also encourage young people, and I want to give you a few examples of businesses that I study a lot. They're Kenyan-led businesses, and nataka mwende kwa internet, Google, mwangalie what exactly these businesses are. There's a business called Cellulant. Nani ashesikia jua business into a Cellulant? Mtu mmoja. Oh, I'm seeing a few hands. So I want, at your own time, go and check. I think it's one of the most successful businesses in Kenya. And while I was sitting there, I did a bit of research because I wanted to give an example of the business. The story on the internet is, the guy had started another business, closed the business, and then started another business. And then he had this idea that he sketched on a serviette. And it has grown to be one of the most successful fintechs in the region and globally. So go and read about Cellulant and how much time he took to actually grow that business to that capacity. And this is to speak about the process and the resilience of a business owner, because it is not rosy and flowery. Even sometimes, even I question myself. I'm like, sasa, nani aliniambia? See, I can just go back and get employed. But then sometimes it's the bigger picture that you have. And then recently, there's a business called Vivo, the fashion brand. Yeah? Wandia has done a really amazing job, and I'm giving these examples because I feel these are businesses that have grown right in front of our eyes. You know, from Vivo being an online store to growing and her just putting in her time, her sweat, her effort into the malls, and now it's a global brand. Read about Vivo. Most of the time, we're in the information age. That's a good business to look at. And then currently, one of the businesses I'm looking out for is called Basigo. They're doing electrical buses. Basigo, B-A-S-I-G-O. Check them out online. Very visionary leaders. I happen to know some of them, but they are really in this space of waste management. And then into other smaller businesses that I feel are doing a good job. There's a business called nilikuwa nimeandika wapi? Anyway, I'll get the name. But it's a business that is actually, yes, Aruba Collection. Aruba Collection, check them out online. It's a business that started off as an idea. A young girl had an idea of recycling fashion waste. Because sometimes you always think waste is about waste ni takataka, plastic and everything. So she was very committed into recycling fashion waste, and she sat through a certain business training program that I was teaching some years back, and she's been able to really grow her business into bounds and pieces. So she's in the she takes fashion waste from the industry and converts it into meaningful products and services. So all this is for me to say that, guys, it is very, very practical, it is doable. And then on to one of the questions and concerns about conflict. That's a very good question. And I relate to it because I've had conflict in business. Conflict in a way that I've lost 2 businesses. And not just 2 random businesses, 2 businesses that are really making good money. So you need to, I like what you're told, take a back step. And sometimes, like we said, the other facilitator said, nobody ever plans for conflict. But one of the things as business owners, every day, some days, conflict will be part of our day-to-day life. So it will be either you consider having a discussion with your founders and thinking about how then do you exit? How can it be reconciled? Sisa zingine pia when you're having issues na demu yako mnakaa chini mnakunywa kahawa mnarudiana. Na sasa ukitoka home ulikuwa unasema leo nenda kumwacha. Today is the day I'm going to dump this guy. And then you'll go, you'll sit, you'll drink coffee, you'll discuss, you'll see the area. So don't avoid conflict. So the first thing that I'd encourage you to do, think about, are the things irreconcilable? Can you guys sit down and discuss? Can this relationship be mended? If the answer is no, then you may start thinking about how then do I exit? Or how then, and how can it have minimum collateral, minimum damage? How will you exit so that it has minimum damage? I don't know if the slides are ready. Okay, not yet. So maybe I can just take a few questions in relation to the business plan as I wait for the slides, because I don't want to miss out anything. Okay. Let me take 4. I'll take 4 questions. 1 from here, 2 from here, because it's big, and then maybe from this side. And then we'll take a break shortly. Yes. You want to come?
All protocol observed. Good morning. My name is Felix. So my question was that assume you have a business plan, but the problem is you don't have the space to start the business. Will you automatically be disqualified because of that, or is there any way you can be helped to operate this kind of a business?
So as far as I am concerned, and I still confirm, the Tony Lumelu Foundation is one of the organizations that still fund ideas. And the reason they are training you and giving you a business skill is because they want you, if for example you haven't started at that idea stage, you will be trusted with that resource to go and deploy it in your business. So if your first challenge or your biggest challenge was space, then the expectation is you're going to use that money to open the space. Now here is the trick. Simna submit business plan and then you will pitch. Na kuna mali mnaulizwa, how will you use the 5,000 seed capital? It will be very disconnected if in the business plan umesema you don't have a space. And then in your financial plan and your financial budget, akuna line item ya kuonesha, the first thing I'm gonna receive when I get this money is renting a space. Useme I'm going to buy a car. Are you seeing where now the business planning starts making sense? So take this, take the business plan and the entire experience from the place of you're the business owner, you're the captain of the ship, and this process, both the resource, the training resource and the monetary resource, is going to complement the idea you have. So the answer is you're not going to be disqualified. But while you're putting your case in the business plan and in your financial model, demonstrate that connection. So I have an idea, I have gone through the business training, and these are the step-by-step processes that I'm taking for me to be implementing. I think there used to be a question, how are you going to use the $5,000? What the person who's going to be reviewing that business plan, the expectation is, anataka kuona unasema unataka kwenda kurent. But if you say that I'm going to use it to buy a car to transport the products and services, already there's an inconsistency. It shows the captain of the ship doesn't even know how to direct it. Yeah? So as the ship captain, you have to really demonstrate that you have the capacity to direct the resources. So you're not going, nobody's going to be disqualified because they don't have, because the foundation is very aware. The idea stages. So it's usually 0 to 3 years. So it's an expectation. So nobody's going to be disqualified because you have an idea. But the expectation is you've gone through a training and then now you have the capacity and now you know that with this money, if I get it, hapo kwa business plan unaenda kujitetea. The business plan and the financial modeling. So you'll say, I think it's usually very pragmatic. How are you going to deploy the resources? Number one, na lazima ende uangalie market rates. When you say, I'm going to, rent is going to cost me this, setting up, lighting, etc. But if you say you had an idea of starting a shoe shop, but then you're saying, I'm going to spend the money to buy a car or to do what, then there's already a lot of inconsistency. So that is how it connects, the dots are fitting. Any other question? Yes, come.
Thank you. My question is on developing the business plan, on budgeting. So let's say that the expectation is to be awarded something like $5,000. And now in developing this business plan, the main goal is to ensure that at least you stand a chance at getting the amount. So do we constrain our budget based on the 5,000, or we should expand our idea to the max? Then the judges will decide whether the idea is worth funding at the beginning. I hope you get my question.
I get that question very much. Nataka kwanza unajua most of us, me I'm from the 844, nyote ni 844 generation, CBC wajanza kugraduate. By the way, it's not an exam. So nobody is sitting down to tick and award you 100%. So to your question, the reason you're being trained on the business planning is so that you can understand your business full term, short term, and immediate. Sivyo? So, if you're submitting the business plan, again, it would be very interesting for you to actually paint the bigger picture. And I'll give an example of my business. Like I said, the capital expectation of my business that I worked, that got me through the foundation, was 20 million. 20 million to start that business. Yeah? But I sat through that training and I was able to, number one, unpack the value proposition. When I got into the training, I was like, oh yeah, there are no toilets in Kenya. I want to build toilets in Kenya. It was very broad. Then I started going through the training and I realized, there's something called market segmentation. Then I said, when I actually sat down through the course of market segmentation, I was like, by the way, I don't want to build toilets. A lot of people are building toilets in informal settlements. Modern settlements, kuna toilet solutions. Then I was able to say, I actually want to build toilets in schools. So I was able to now move away from very broad. Nikasema now, my solution and my business will focus on building toilets in schools. So that means it started narrowing it down. Then I went ahead and I said, if I was to get, so I actually went ahead and I broke down and I said, for me to ship in the first consignment of toilets, because the main components of the envisioned toilets that I want to build in this country come from a different country, but then we'll use local resources to continue building. So then I now understood, you can actually have different components, you can have everything. Now, I said, with this money, I want to understand my market, the new market segment that I had defined. So I went ahead and I submitted a business and I said, I know my overall capital requirement is 20 million, but there's an opportunity to get $5,000 so that I can go and understand what is the actual need of toilets in schools. Is it really existing? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? Then second level, I went and I did what is usually called a minimum viable product. So with the $5,000, I took it and I said, I'll research. Because research is a big component of investment in business. So nikachukua $5,000, ikaingia kwa account, nikaenda nikasema nataka kutengeneza shule toilets in schools. I was like, I'm not going to focus in schools in Nairobi, let me go to the rural areas. So I went and I said, budget item number 1, my travel to Vihiga. How many schools will I visit? This number of schools. So, and then I went, I visited the schools, I was able to unpack, and then eventually the second thing went, I was still at very idea. I branded, I opened social media pages, I built a website, I did this, I did that. So I moved like that pragmatically. But I submitted a full picture, but then extracted a line item from the complete budget is what I requested to be funded. Tuko pamoja? When your driver hiyo, pale tunemolu nobody's marking, they are depending on you to demonstrate the learning that you have taken and how then are you applying and then how then will you put in a strong application. It would have been I would have shortchanged myself, kama ningesema, I want to use this $5,000 to try and import toilets at 20 million. Doesn't make sense. Sikuna mali iko inconsistent. Yeah. So you're the driver of the ship, please direct us. By directors, kipole-pole. Second last question before the break come, and I want one lady to ask their question. And thanks, gentlemen.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Ngoma. Sorry. My name is Nicholas Ngoma. Am I audible? Yeah. So my curiosity is, what strategies, or rather, what are the selection measures that you people are going to be considering when choosing the businesses? And also, you said that we should not worry in case some of our business plans do not go through. And so what other plans or what other opportunities do you people does the TEF organization or rather foundation shares? And is it still through the platform, or there's another channel that the opportunities are shared with us Africans so that we are able to grow and develop ourselves? Yes.
Very valid question. So yes, the foundation usually has other programs and other partners. Like currently there's one that has just been closed. It was called the WIFOE program. That's very specific to women. It was open to women again in the climate, green change and everything. So that's another one. So yes, there are many other opportunities that the foundation continues to share. Independent opportunities and then alumni specific opportunities. So always keep it locked to the to their social media channels. They are always sharing. I think there's one that was very country specific, which was Inuka. Inuka was specific to Rwanda and things like that. So the foundation is always going to be sharing such opportunities. Oh, by the way, hi, Eric. My daughter went to Eric's Academy for coding like 2 years ago. Yes. So yes, he does amazing work. He teaches small kids on coding and tech and all that. Last question before the break. Yes, come. I hope easy sessions in a land.
Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible. All protocols observed. My question is, since we're in the West, maybe you can give us, like you said, your business when you wanted it was at 20 million, but you're being given a funding of 5K, which, like, if you had to go with the sanitary idea, which section would you make sure stood out with the 5K so that as you scale up, then you can be able to work on the idea as a whole, since we're in the waste management?
Okay, yeah, very valid question. So in relation to my example, like I said, I was starting out, it was an idea, but had extensive experience in the waste management space before that. So this was a business. It was actually my first official formal business for me to start. So to your question, like I said, I think there's an element of unlearning that ideally I got. And I think it's a request and an opportunity for you to unlearn. So the first unlearning that I did is, like you said, I had come from formal employment, and then I came from 844, so everything had to be right. So unamakiwa. So for me, I think going through the training program equipped me as a business owner and a business founder to always be in charge of my business. So like I said, when I looked at the amount of money that was being given, and the things I had developed in the business plan, it only made sense for me to put together a line item as a request. Si kuna budget lines, si mkona template ya budget lines. And then in that budget line is where now you'll be thinking, marketing is gonna cost me this, starting is gonna cost me that. Don't be shy away to even, marketing is a business expense. So we are depending on you fully, again, to directors. So it is not a yes or a no question. I gave my example, but I know people, like I think there was a video that was playing here before of a lady who does briquettes. And she said she used to do briquettes. I know her because I also know her story. She's called Rose. Rose does Infinity Briquettes. And how her story goes is, I was doing briquettes, but I was outsourcing. I would take, nikipata order, napelekea mtu naenda na chomewa mahali narudi. So when she saw the business opportunity, she put in the application and then she put in a request to say, I would like to buy a machine that is going to help me make these briquettes. Rose could have actually maintained the co-production with somebody else and say, with this particular business, with this particular money, I want to expand my marketing. That will still be okay. I know two people who were in fashion. One went ahead to open an office and buy machinery. The other one went to do more photography so that she can market her business more. So pretty much what you're saying is both the financial, so I'm taking you back to your business plan. Go and internalize it and then own it and then see what is the most urgent thing. Where will it make more sense? Does it make more sense for me to spread it thin or spread it effectively? So tunalan kidogo. Hapa hakuna marking scheme. Lakini marking scheme ni venye uta demonstrate consistency na kitu yenye na make sense. What you're putting on paper versus how you're submitting it on the financial plan. Sivyo? I think let's take a quick break. And then tutarudi kama hizo slides ziko tayari so that we can walk them through.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate her for that quite inspiring session. Now we're heading out for 40 minutes. Tea break. You'll be given a meal card in a kaivi. Okay. Tony Elumelu Foundation alumni who are in the house, please rise up so that as we go to the tea, tuna network with knowledge. Sindio? Tony Elumelu, thank you for standing. Any other person? Thank you. Able to appreciate. Let's appreciate them. Yes. So I hope Mewamak, as we go out for tea, please network with them. So we have 40 minutes. See you back in 40 minutes. As you exit, you'll be given your mail card at the exit. Asante. See you later. Put your hands together. The head of marketing at UBA, United Bank for Africa, Miss Catherine Award.
Hello, good. It's still morning. Habari yenu? Kuna shengi imetumika hapo. Mi imenishinda. So, I'm very happy to see you all in here. Unajua ukiwa msee wa marketing, ukiinvite watu alafu watu asikam. Hey, thank you so much for coming. So, my name is Catherine Awar, and I'm standing here. And I'm also standing here on behalf of United Bank for Africa. And I'm sure mnajiuliza, so hiyo UBA ni gani sasa? Sindio? So, years, and across Africa we are 75 years. In fact, if you go to our social media, we have a campaign that is running, and we have $3,600 we want to gift someone in Africa. Is it you? So go to the UBA Kenya page. We have a competition called A Legacy of Africa. And we are looking for someone who can do a small documentary on UBA. You will win $3,600. It's up for grabs. So nimewapea tu tip, eh? It's beyond the grant. So hiyo iko kando. So we've been in Africa for 75 years, but in Kenya, 15 years. And you'll ask yourself, so what is the connection between UBA, Tony Elumelu Foundation, why UBA? As you sit here as entrepreneurs, as you apply and go through the Tony Elumelu Foundation, we are in partnership with Tony Elumelu Foundation, and we the founder of Tony Elumelu Foundation, Tony Elumelu himself, is also the chairman of UBA Bank. So we are brother and sister, right? And for those who will be successful to get the grant, you will actually become my customer. At one point you'll be told you need to open a UBA account. And that's the time you'll be asking myself, hey, na hiyo ni gani, sindio? So that's why we are saying you need to start knowing who UBA is, because number one, beyond the grant, you are an entrepreneur. True or false? Maureen has just talked to you about the 5,000, and beyond the 5,000, probably you find that your business needs $20,000 or 2 million, and you only got 5,000. What then does that mean? It means you need someone who is going to work with you as an entrepreneur. Your business needs to grow. Who is that person who is going to handhold you? Who is that person who is going to help you, identify opportunities for growth as an entrepreneur? And that is where UBA comes in. So where we are right now, as we stand in front of you, we are saying, one day you'll become my customer. But beyond being my customer, I can also work with you from an entrepreneur perspective. And just the other day, we are rolling out loans for entrepreneurs. For the next 3 years, we have loans that are going to, we are looking for entrepreneurs who we can walk the journey with for the next 3 years. And it could be you. So even if you don't get the grant, don't give up. There's somebody who can still journey with you. And for the Tony Elumelu alumni who are in here, and how special we make it for them is that we give preferential rates in terms of, say, transactional fees. So Tony Elumelu Foundation alumni actually have like some kind of, some type of like fees that are not for a normal customer. Why we do that is so that you're able to continue being a part of us. So for us, we are looking at you not just as that person who got the grant, but you are an entrepreneur who needs to grow their business. So basically, that is the relationship that is going to be there between UBA and Tony Elumelu Foundation. And some of you have heard, they've said, I'm coming from Nyandarua, I even heard someone saying they're from Siaya. And that time, when it comes and you're being told, open an account, and you're being told, oh my God, there's no UBA in Siaya. The good news is we actually have something called WhatsApp banking. You can bank with a chatbot. You know how you chat with me on WhatsApp? We have a chatbot that banks you. You can even open an account where you're seated now. So when that time comes and you need to open an account and you're in Meru and you've never seen a branch for UBA, there's actually a chatbot called Leo that is going to chat you and open an account for you. Isn't it easy? Sindio? Leo anaongea mpaka Kiswahili. Anaongea English, Kiswahili, French, Portuguese. So, when that time comes, don't worry. Don't say, Mimi yo UBA ata sijui. It is actually there. UBA Leo, and we'll give you the number. You can just chat Leo even now. You just say hi to him, and he responds to you. He opens your account. He works with you. So as an entrepreneur, we have solutions for you. So when that time comes, just know you have a partner who can work with you. And I think that's the first chatbot that actually works. So hata ukienda tuseme Nigeria, uende Ghana, bado account yako ni ile ile. Si ati lazima ufungue account kwingine. It just works wherever you are. So that is a message I had for you. And I think because now we need to move on to the next session. If there are any questions, I'll be available to talk to you, to respond. But you've been asked to continue, tweeting. Leo watu lazima wajue kuna Big Green, si ndio? And you are the ambassadors of Big Green. And us having you here is quite a privilege. So, asanteni guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Please let's appreciate her one more time. So now, I'd like you to put your hands together. You guys, I'd like you to put your hands together. Miss Maureen, Miss Maureen Amakabana. Let's appreciate her one more time to take us through the business plan. Now, some of you had asked questions earlier concerning business plan, and this is the great time. So I need you to focus. She'll be taking us step by step. Take your notes, and we'll have a Q&A section at the end. Thank you.
Bado ni good morning, sindio? Okay, good morning. So, kulikuwa na many questions, and even as we are going on break, I've seen other alumni who've come. So basically, after this session, we are going to have like little smaller groups. We are going to interact with other alumni and just help you with direct questions. Yeah? Direct questions that speak to your business. But first thing is, remember you're the captain of the ship. Wewe ndio dereva wa hiyo gari. So the questions, I avoid giving yes or no questions. So I will always take you back to a business principle or bring you back to a concept. But at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur in Africa, sometimes you even take a risk. Because sometimes things that you write on paper, kwa ground vitu ni different. So as you're walking through your business, planning and everything, it is very important for you to understand that it is only you who can defend your business in the best way possible. Maybe mtu mmoja anakuambia nataka utengeneze app, unasema siwezi tengeneza app kwa sababu wase na sub hawana smartphones. Ama hawana, earlier on nilisikia anasema wase wanataka wifi. Amna bundles? Noma sana, si ndio? So unaweza get unatengeneza app, na so unatengenezea app, bundles ni noma sana. So will your app be consumed? And you've already invested. Itakuwa noma pia. So this is the plan that I submitted to the foundation. Na najua I think inakaa hivyo bado, si ndio? Okay, so I'll work with the person in the media team to just scroll for me the slides. Enter the next page. So na nilichonga hapo. So basically, like I said, very specific to my business. Yeah? So the summary, unaambiwa andike executive summary, and I'll show you an example of an executive summary. So this is where you say, talk about your business. Generally, I do this, to do that, and I'll show you an example. Then there's the introduction, then there's the product, which is very varied, and then industry and market analysis. Again, this will be varied. So in my case, competition utaiona, operations plan iko hapo. But in the operations, for me to ever start my business, to the question that keeps recurring, do you put an application that only speaks about the $5,000, or do you put an application for future? This is an opportunity for you to ever plan your business long term. So in my case, I thought about what is required for me to operationalize the business. To start operations, nini nitahitaji saizi, ndio niki business ikue formalized na yanze kurun. In my industry, which is sanitation, your business must be formally registered. Lazima nikwe na Kenya Revenue Authority PIN certificate. And the reason why for me, Kenya Revenue Authority PIN certificate was important at the time was because my customers were institutions. Institutions don't deal with businesses that don't have PIN certificates, especially my target market. So that is a critical bare minimum. However, in this room, kuna mtu mwenye their business is as simple as I want to collect waste from residential areas, package them, and take them to, in my days, Huruma, kuuza kwa, you know those guys who buy waste? That is a very informal business and is still very viable. So here, maybe at the beginning, all you need is just a registration at KRA, because you're dealing from an informal person to an informal person, so you may need mkokoteni for you to be able to transport your waste from Doni to Githurai so that you can sell it. So you've collected, you've aggregated, umesort, unauza. So pale cooperations, maybe what you require is mkokoteni, you require people, you require extra plastic bags, you require XYZ. So that is very industry specific. In my case, I also need a compliance. There's a difference between a certificate and a compliance. So once you do your certificate of KRA, compliance comes in because the regulator goes to say that this is a credible business and they're paying tax. And in my case, or they are actually transparent to their tax processes. In my business case, that is also required because my customers are institutions. So sometimes I hear young people saying, Bana, these guys, corporates don't give us business. But the reason why a corporate may not partner with you, it is because you've not formalized your business for them to partner with you. Because most registered corporates have obligation of government and they are required to actually work with businesses that are formalized. So, angalia kwa biashara yako, what is needed to take it to place. And then I required a health insurance, because the sanitation business handles waste management, human waste management. So there's a critical component of health, and again, I was dealing with schools. So schools, this is based on market research. Hizi vitu sikuwa najua before nianze biashara. But when you kwa program, there's a component where they tell you, go and do a market research. Don't do a desk research. Go to the ground. So when I started analyzing my segment, which was the school segment, I was told the wash area or the wash component of schools is a function of the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health. So schools are expected to provide decent sanitation in schools, and Ministry of Health comes to oversee. Sometimes schools are usually closed because hakuna choo. So as a business who's in that space, I needed to be approved by the Ministry of Health. So I put it there as a business plan, as part of the things I need in the operation. And then NSSF, NHIF, those are just statutory requirements, because even these days, government has broken down the components. So as businesses also expect to have an NHIF PIN and an NSSF PIN as a business. But then most important is you don't have, even for KRA, you can start your PIN, but also this is an opportunity for you to also understand the different tax regimes and the different expectations from your industry. Very industry specific. Ikwangi one size fits it all. Like the other business that I'm actively running, our tax obligation is income tax. But there's a business whose tax obligation is VAT. So you also have to understand, but most of the small businesses fall under that category of income tax. So Musiogope KRA, I would challenge each business owner here to go and understand the different tax regimes and how that actually works for small businesses. Yeah? Haya, nikatoka hapo, nikaenda occupational and then Nairobi Water Certificate. So it was to operate in this area, and it's very specific because at the time when I was doing the market research, Nairobi was the only county at the time that had regulated the sanitation industry. Therefore, for you to be in that space, you needed and the regulator is Nairobi Water. I needed a Nairobi Water Certificate. But when I went to other counties, that was not a requirement. So that is why it is very specific. If other counties were required, ningekuwa nimesema Nairobi Water Certificate and consecutive maybe county water certificates or something, or the water bodies that regulate. And then of course, hapo the materials required for operations, and you go down, breaking it down. So that is just the overview in terms of you taking this tool that you've been given and then customizing it to your business. Let me pause there to take any questions on what I have so far presented. Yes. Can we have a roaming mic? Okay.
I have heard you talk about compliance and tax certificate. So my question is, there are different types of businesses. Like there's a business name and then there's a registered company. So I would kindly like you to clarify specific whether a business name can work or we rely on a company name.
That's a very good question. So yes, different businesses have different, so generally there are three types of businesses. A limited liability company, which now in Kenya, it can be owned by an individual. I think that's 5 years ago, minimum directors was 2 and above. But now as an individual, you can actually have a limited liability company. So this is the type of business that detaches the business liability from the owner. So today, if my business goes to loss, they won't come and auction my car unless I put it as a facility in the bank. But I can actually go and tell government, biashara imekunywa maji, I want to liquidate it. Close the business, negotiate with my debtors and creditors, and then go home. Second type of business, sole proprietor. The sole proprietor is also recognized. So you're going to register Usafi as a sole proprietor. The difference between that will be, I as an individual will still be the person who is taking the liability. Which means if Usafi today owes you money, I can go to the small claims court And if I can't pay you, they'll come to my house and auction my fridge. The other one is they'll come to my business premises, and if there's nothing to be auctioned, you'll be told it was a business, it went bad, close and go home. And then there's usually, I think, limited by guarantee, and then limited by, but let's focus, because those are the most common ones, the two. Now, in terms of compliance, if you register a business as a sole proprietor, the tax obligations will be attached to your personal PIN, right? So all the other statutory requirements will be attached to your personal PIN. So you've not de-risked yourself as a business owner. But if my business, like today if I showed you my statutory requirements for Usafi Sanitation, which is a limited liability company, iko na PIN ya usafi, iko na NSSF ya usafi, iko na NHIF ya usafi, iko na hizo vitu zote. And this is the assumption that the moment the business peaks and grows, I will need to pay my staff, myself first of all. I'll need to submit statutory requirements, which is income tax, NHIF, NSSF. Those are the basics. And I think now there's a housing levy. So of course I need to update my business plan. Sivyo? I need to update my business plan based on the statutory requirements. So yeah, so two things. If you register a sole proprietor as a business, everything else will be attached to your personal, so including the liability of the business. But if you have a limited company, itakuwa independent. So kama unataka kwenda kufanya job, you want UBA to give you a tender, they'll consider you because there are people who actually, as long as you're formalized, the only difference between me and you is, wakikwambia nipatie PIN, utapeana PIN yako, ile iko na jina yako. Nipatie tax compliance, itakuwa na jina yako. Yangu itakuwa na jina ya kampuni. Any other question? Burning question? In a land, yes, there's a question behind there.
Question. So for the point where we've gone through the journey of learning everything, then we're getting to the point of clarifying everything. At what point do you look at fixing yourself onto one thing and then giving yourself room to be able to pivot and iterate? Yeah.
That's a valid question. So what you're saying is maybe you started off with many ideas and then now you want to get to a point of diversifying or saying, I'm packing this, I'm packing that, I'm focusing on this. So one of the things that I always tell small businesses, you have very limited resources. A small business most of the time has limited resources. In this case, it's as limited as $5,000 if you make it to the 120. So what technically happens, maybe you can move to the next slide. Nitakwambia mali pa kustop. Songa, songa. Lakini utarudi nyuma kidogo. Songa, 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 songa. Endelea. 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 Hapo, 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 hapo. Now, so for me, I came and I said, that is where you're niching. Si kwa business and kuna mali mefundisha juu ya market niche. You can choose to niche. So for me, like in my case, I said, what's my primary market? Schools, both public and private, that's my primary market. And secondary market is NGOs, CBOs, and then the third market is individuals. So the first opportunity you always have to decide what you're going is, you've gone through the business plan, you've seen there's a big opportunity. The first thing is always to segment your market. Then once you segment your market, you can decide, with the amount of money I have right now and the time, because sometimes people always think it's money, also time is a resource in a business. So you can say, I'm a solo founder, I don't have money to employ somebody else, I don't have resources, but there's an opportunity here. And I want to sell, I'm making bags and I want to sell to big people. So then I want to sell to 10,000 customers in the long term. But with the current resources that I have, I can actually choose to say, I will start selling bags in universities in Kenya. First assumption. Second assumption, I will start selling bags in Nairobi University only. Or I will start selling bags in, which is a popular dormitory in Nairobi University, Stella Winja hostels as a specific. So the market niche gives you an opportunity for you to start breaking it down. You remember we talked about breaking it down in manageable pieces. In your business plan, very futuristic, but when it comes to implementation, it should be step by step. You walk the first step, you're selling bags, universities in Kenya, that's your goal. Then you'll say, I'm a solo founder. Can I start with one university? And then you'll go again and say, in this university, in the first month of operations, I want to sell to 100 students. By the way, my background is marketing and sales. So I love selling. So in that 100, utasema, for you to sell 100 bags in University of Nairobi per month, how many bags must you sell in a day? Ningapi? Watu wa hesabu hapo. So that is an example. I hope I've answered your question. Yes.
Mine is about the registration. At some point, you may intend to come up with a sole proprietorship kind of business. And in that, at least you have control over everything that you want to set up. But when it comes to groups, sometimes you end up maybe changing plans, maybe changing even the name of the company. So at what stage do you go for registration? Because along the way, I may want to change the name of the company or the goal or the target. Maybe if you take example of selling bags, maybe the first idea was about selling to universities. Then I come and maybe decide to work with only public universities. So at what point do I go for registration? Or is there a way I can change all these things that are already registered?
Okay, very valid question, and I like that example, and I think it also ties into what he had asked, the risk. So at what point can you register? Again, you're the driver of the vehicle, so you'll make the choice. However, what in the example you've given, do you want to trade with the university as an institution, or do you just want to sell to the students? If you want to sell to the students only, at that particular point, all you need is a sample, a photo, an Instagram page, and say that I'm selling bags. And then call this number to get bags and pesa to my number. So at that point, you can run it as an informal business. But what may go around in the university that there's this guy who sells really nice bags, and then the university has a conference coming up and they want to promote. Maybe they've been told, not actually maybe, there's actually something called the affirmative procurement requirement. So University of Nairobi is a public institution, going by that example, and they have been told, out of your budget you must support 30% of your procurement budget must go to youth. And then they say, hey, there's this guy student, anauza bag poa, tumesikia sifa yake, tunataka kumpatia biashara. Nairobi University will only consider you if you're formal. That means kama umeregister. So in the event that you haven't registered, then you miss out on formal opportunities. It is you as a business owner to make that decision. Business is a risk. So this is my message to all of you. So sitakwambia at that point, when utasikia mali, have you ever felt salu umekimbia na feel, wacha niongeze mbio. So it's up to you now. You'll actually have, and then you'll also have a tool to support you in that journey. So that's called market growth. So utenda pale useme, my first market was individuals in the schools, nimeachieve goal yangu. My second objective was to sell to the school administration. When you get to meet that second objective, itabidi, for you to achieve that second objective, you have to be formalized, you have to be registered, you have to go to the institution. In fact, sometimes just go to them and ask them, what do I need so that I can be able to trade with you? Alafu lazima wendo by tender, all those things. Yeah? I hope I've answered it. Sure. Last question, and then we'll move to the next slide. And yeah.
Good afternoon. My question is, who compromise? Your team is who is in your team, and at what stage did you add? Let's say, for example, you started with the idea, Then at a certain point, you added someone. So the process of choosing a team member and the reason why you choose someone to be part of Safi.
Nimekupata kabisa. That topic is usually very close to my heart. So how do you choose your team? At what point do you add the team? I have a live example. So before this business, before this one, I had another business where I had a brilliant idea. You remember I said I'm a marketer? So, and I had experience in the sanitation space. So nilikuwa nimepata ka job kengine hapo ka kusupply. So I went and I registered a business. And how did I choose my first business partner? It was somebody who I knew had money. So nikaenda nikamwambia, hey, by the way, kuna biashara imeiva hapa. Si ukuje tufanye biashara? I invited him to the table. He saw the business opportunity. He invested in it. And at that time, I was very naive. Me, I'd never run a business formally. Nilikuanga najua kuhustle. When I was in campus, I sold bags, I sold socks, I did that. And then I left campus and I went and I got employed, Evo. So this was really the first time I was starting putting my hand in business. So nimeona ka opportunity, kameiva, nikaenda nikamwambia msee, he put money in the business. Akasema nitatafuta lawyer, nikasema you do everything. So you're the one with the money, me I'll do the sales. You go and do everything. Unknown to me, they had somewhere in the contract, the guy had more power than I had in terms of decision making. So the day that deal came through, the guy kicked me out of the business. Live, like, get out. It was a painful business. Painful business. The business still continues to run today. It is very successful, extremely successful, but I never lived to eat the fruit. And the worst thing is, they're a family member. So, Nambiwanga Kanyagia, my niece is here, she doesn't know who it is. So it's something that, Nambiwanga Kanyagia, your story. Now, one of the things that I got from the foundation, there's a legal component in the business. In the business planning, have you guys gotten there? There's actually a component in your business planning that walks you through that. So with that painful experience, by the way, iliniuma, bado inuma hadi saizi. But business is about risk, right? But the other business is very successful. Sometimes I drive and I see and I'm like, I'm the one who came up with that name. But I never lived to see the benefits of that business. Now with that painful experience, I went back to the market with a lesson, but with a lot of insecurity. So what did I do first? Nika register sole proprietor. The most automatic thing that you want to do. So actually by the time I was getting into the program, this business was a sole proprietor. But when I went through governance, there's a component of governance in the business. There's a step-by-step process that this exact business plan, and maybe I can show you, you have time, that takes you through what is governance in a business. What are the opportunities of, what is the benefit of registering a sole proprietor versus a. So I opened my mind, I picked my business lessons, I learned in security, and I invited other co-founders. But this time round, I had the knowledge of taking the contract to the lawyer, so I managed the entire process by myself, and then we structured the arrangement and the relationship as guided by the expert who was a lawyer at the time. So any business transaction that I always get into, not only in this business and other businesses, I always have a lawyer's opinion and instructions that favor me. There are business contracts that have come out because it took to the lawyer, Kasema, this doesn't favor you. I went back to negotiate. So to answer your question, go back to your notes of governance in this particular business model, and then that will guide you on how to structure the business. But then it is always you as a business owner knowing, where am I bringing this person? What benefits are they bringing into the business? And how will it benefit me? But when you're putting out your business out in the world and you want it to grow, a lot of people want to demonstrate or want to see accountability. So one of the reasons why some people shy away from investing in sole proprietors is because there's no form of accountability. So the governance structure is a bit weak in a sole proprietor compared to a limited liability company. Okay. Rudy page. Rudy, you call, yes, go. So there's the executive summary. So this is where you just write a very high level, what the document is about, what's in the document, who your customer is, and everything. So this is usually a summary of if somebody was to see your page, your business in one page, it should be captured there. Very less wordy and everything, but it captures who you are, what you do, who you serve, and the products that you have. Let's move to Songa Bele. Songa. Continue. So that's the products that I continue. If you can, in your business plan, feel free to add photos. Yeah. Enda hadi page 35. Competitor versus what I was bringing. My SWOT analysis. Page 35 is I want to spend more time because it's the financial part. Na hapo ndio kuna maswali mingi ninaona. Oh, actually go back there. Rudy. No. Okay, continue. No. Enda page that. Move. All right. Stop there. Okay. There's been a lot of questions on how do you submit a financial plan that makes sense. So, milestones, startup costs, source of revenue, required cost of startup, revenue projections, profit and loss. That's the document that the profit and loss statement is another template that you've been given. Cash flow, again, it's been provided, and the balance sheet. And then the assumptions. I think there was a question on somebody who said they submitted their financial plan and then it came back with a negative. I would want you to go back and check at your assumptions. What assumptions did you have? And do the assumptions fit the figures you put in your financial plan? Remember I said these two documents they run concurrently. So you may find part of the reason why maybe your business plan may be rejected, it is because it's not tallying with what you've written on your business plan and what you're submitting on your financial projections haziambatani. So for example, my assumptions were to grow revenue 10% year 1 and 10% year 2, and then the following variable expenses are tied to volumes and will increase the same amount of revenue as salaries, fuel charges, postage, repairs, maintenance and supplies, and then to break even in 12 months. So if these are my business assumptions, and then I'm given a financial tool to say now put down those things in the assumptions, and then I put a projection that will make me break even in 12 years, then it will flag it out. Haita hambatana, so there could be a problem. So what I'm just saying here, this is the opportunity for you to go and marry your business assumptions and then with the financial tool document, which again is very case by case, yeah? So in my case, just scroll up. These were the estimate projections. And remember to the question of how much money did I? So this is the first assumption and projections. So it came to 5.4 million. How much was the foundation giving me? 5 million. Continue to the next page. And then I went ahead and I said, purchase, shipping of whatever, inclusive, nikafanya hizo vitu zote. Other sources of income, cash injections from savings, commercial loans, I put a 0 because the business was very new and no bank was going to lend me money. Inventory and working capital and all that. What else were we going to use? Fixed assets and everything. So I took my entire financial obligation and I broke it down into the bits. Then move up. Continue. And then I came to the milestones. Apo ni sawa. And then I said, remember I said it was a very specific segment. line item. So I simply used the resource for these 2 line items. So sikuenda kununua choo, sikuenda, because I knew I can't afford the toilets. I looked at my budget and was like, what is the things? I was not going to allocate them on staff salaries because I didn't have staff. I was not going to recruit because at that point it didn't make sense. At the point when I was doing this program, it didn't make sense. But I had a futuristic plan. So I took sales and marketing and advertising, demo toilets in schools and marketing for the videos, and then access to get a quarterly report. And that's what I presented as why I should be funded. Continue up. And eventually, I went back to my business plan and I put facts. So after I received the money, I went back and because remember I said I was going to understand the market. Is it viable? How does it look? What does it look like? So I went back and I went to all those schools. So that's an indicator of how I ended up using the money. So I visited schools, I spoke to people, I saw the opportunity. Scroll back up, Endelea. And then I spent some money on social media. I think you had a question on that. I spent some money, I did my demo, which you're calling a prototype. And then I went and I spent some money on social media. And that's the indicator of how much I spent the money. I boosted, I promoted, I set up social media campaigns and advertised, and then I reported back and I said that was the report. And this was way after. This is something that sasa nilienda kujifanyia. You know, personal accountability. You know, I didn't take this money and go to Mombasa, by the way. It's very tempting. I actually went back and I put back the money in the business, scroll up, and I went back and I reported to myself. So it has the indicators of examples of what, but then some of these things I was already doing and implementing while I was in the program. So me, I was not waiting. So when I realized, I can actually do a social media campaign. Nilienda nikafungua Facebook page. So I was also implementing as I was learning. So if, for example, you were doing, like the day when I did the component of legal, that is the first day I called a lawyer and I said, I want to understand business from a legal perspective. Scroll back up. Continue scrolling. Continue scrolling. I think that's really it. And I am open to taking more questions. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. And my question is, what was your plan B? What if the proposal failed? Because according to my understanding, yes, we are being told that we have over 1,000 applicants and 120 of us are going to be funded. So what can you tell the remaining 880? Another question. Sometimes doing a business plan, doing it on the paper is very right, and sometimes you find that on the seed capital, and then I can ask you what other source are you able to raise like 100,000, and some of us are coming from different slums, and then some of us are coming from rural areas, so we are unable to raise even the money, the seed capital. Should you go for a loan? And if you have done a loan, are you able to manage the loan with the risk that the business can fail or the business can be successful? Thank you so very much.
I like that question, and I like it because business is a risk, by the way. Silimwambia biashara yangu kwanza nilifanya nikafanya mpango yote nikaenda nikaleta mpaka investor na kanambia get out. Was that a risk or not? What was my plan B? Rudi kwa kiwanja. And that is what I started by saying. The fact that you're not going to be selected doesn't mean your business idea is not viable. So what are your next steps? There's a place in the business where you've told who's your customer. Are you able to start selling this product to your customer? I had a very good interaction with this lady here over tea, and she told me she does cosmetics. Did you carry your product? So your next plan in relation to example, is now you have this burning desire, you have learned, you know your business is viable, take that product to the market. There's no perfect time. So the next time I'm seeing her, nataka kujena, is it blueberry? I've seen she has a nice lotion that is flavored. I mean, yonesha picture. Your next plan of action, I said, remember me I was talking about, I was implementing as I was going. It is to tell people, please follow my Facebook page. Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have Instagram? It is your responsibility to sell your business. Your plan B is you will take this business and you will go and sell it. Whether you have a product, if you don't have a product yet, we live in the digital information age. Inge Instagram, inge a TikTok. Set it up, brand your TikTok page, brand your Instagram page. Watu wa Facebook, ingieni Facebook. Start telling people, even by telling people, start by telling people, like my business, kuna kitu iko kwa pipeline. So your plan B will be to have the courage to go and start your business small and where you are and with the resources that you are. In the projection I showed there, there's a component that was, I had indicated my other sources of income. You remember I had indicated bank zero because I knew no bank was going to give me money. What are my other sources of income? Investment, sales, Evo. So those are your other options. That's your plan B. Plan C can actually be me to say, I don't want to continue. Let me go and try something else. Nimelani biashara, wacha nichukue skill, nianze kuuza mtumba kwanza, nianze kuuza thrift clothes so that I can be able to raise funds for my business. So you have multiple ways on how you can diversify. If you have a skill set, and maybe ulikuwa umesema wacha nitoke job, nende kurun business, na biashara imeanguka, if your mental capacity cannot give you, by the way, when that business closed, I had a very serious mental breakdown. And at that time, I took a break. Taking a break is an option so that you can recalibrate. Unarudi tizi kidogo. And then when the business calls you back, you'll have better skills, you'll have better. Or if you are previously employed, imagine you can still go back and say, wachan katafute job. But now when you go back and start earning a 30-day income on a cycle, every month I'll be saving 5,000 shillings towards my business. Because now you know that my business requires 100,000 to start. So what have we said? Sell the product. Your plan B is take your product to market. That is by the way, your first source of revenue should always be sales. Try it, or people consuming your product. Your second option would be you looking for other sources of income. I know there are many other programs like this that offer business people opportunities and grants. So basically you have many options. And also taking a break is fine. It's okay. Sometimes you just need to take a break, or sometimes you just need to go back to the market. So you have multiple options. Your second question was sources of income. I've touched on that. Sales. Take your product to market, let you start earning an income. Other sources of grants. On the internet, spend your time on the internet. Even you just do a quick Google search. Grants that support early stage businesses or ideas. In Kenya, a list will come up. Yeah? Keep an eye on the Tony Melu social media pages. Other opportunities like this continue to pop up. And sometimes your charmers, your relatives, spaces like this you can meet investors. So your options should be wide. Yeah.
Good evening this afternoon. Kusawa, my name is Jimton Mogambi from Meru. And my question is a bit general. I don't know whether I'll be addressing it to the right person. But I'm happy to mention that I'm partly a beneficiary of Tony Arumero Foundation. I've applied it twice, but then I've also not gotten to the point of being funded. But I've benefited from the trainings that have been happening. But also on the flip side, my experience with Tony Arumero in my last application was not that good. In 2023, I went through the entire process, from being shortlisted to submitting, or rather to going through the training, submitting the business plan, getting the reviews, and then also after all that, we went now to the other stage of submitting, or meeting some requirements. One of the requirements that was there was to open a bank account with the UBA bank, which also has some cost. The other requirement was you submitting an authorization contract. An authorization contract costed me 5,000. Then there were other requirements that were needed for you to proceed. So I did all that with actually a few others of my friends from Kenya. Actually, we were in the same WhatsApp group. But at the end of it, or after doing all that, we were met with a regret email, which was very discouraging. So my question is, now with this other program, or rather with this year's process, how far are we going before we could be told whether we are proceeding or not, basically? Thank you.
Okay, so I don't have the capacity to respond to your first question because I am an alumni, so I don't work for the foundation. I only represent them in terms of spreading the word and being an ambassador. However, we can have a side conversation and then I'll direct you. So you got a regret after going through all that. Okay, so that one I'll have to direct you, but yes, like we said, it's some people get, others don't get.
Majority of the other people that we are applying with in 2023 from Kenya, none got, and we all went through the process. So I'm trying to imagine how different these years will be. I'm a bit worried.
But you're saying majority, right? But there are some people who got the money.
I have not met any from Kenya from the year 2023, specifically year 2023.
2023. Okay,
Yeah.
so first of all, I highly suspect they're still doing due diligence for the people who went through. But again, let me not speak on their behalf. I will have to cycle that back. But in relation to the Big Green, it is very specific, it is very targeted, and there are other partners within. So this will be more, you're actually less. That's another thing. The foundation receives thousands and thousands and thousands of applications. So this is a smaller group. You know, you're talking about 2,000. The main program sometimes has over 300,000 applications. So imagine you're trying to swim through 3,000 applications. So this is very specific and targeted, and I will tell you, back to your question, sasa umerudi kwa soko, sulirudi ground, ukarudi kucheza, wase watch football. Sometimes I don't watch football, I'm very competitive. So sometimes football drains me. But sometimes you actually put in your best, but you'll still be knocked off. And that is just how business is. So more grace to you, more courage. Feel encouraged. Make sure you submit that plan. You may just be among the 120. Out of how many? Is it 2,000? Don't fail to submit. Don't feel discouraged. Yeah. Let me take that.
I wanted to react to his issue of notary. Even me, when I was having my document notarized, some were asking me for 10, others were asking for 6. But behind my back, I felt, no, there must be something or somebody taking advantage. So somebody came to me and told me there is public notary, embassy house, you only do 1,000, and then you're done. So if you feel you're not able to meet that cost of 10, whatever the lawyers can ask you or the notary, then go to Embassy House. Lawyers of all areas are there. So you will go to the ones who are right for you. You ask at the entrance, we have the security guards. They know them all. So they'll send you in the right office, you notarize, and you move off.
Thank you so much for that resource. Even me, I want. Embassy House, I did know that. Okay, Embassy House, that's where the office of the public notary is. Ah, okay, awesome. All right.
Hello, my name is Steven. I'm from Laikipia County, Nanyuki Town. I also do waste management. I'm in business and I do waste collection and transportation. I also understand you're in waste management. So my biggest challenge in operating as a business management business, NEMA licenses and county regulations. How did you go about updating your license from NEMA and also from county? From my area, Laikipia, tuna shida kubwa sana ku access the dam site upande ule, whereby as much as we are trying to manage the waste, there's that small element, that small percentage that you cannot recycle or reuse or repurpose it. So you unakuta unashindwa kwenye utaipeleka because the county regulation ama the charges that they are charging are too high. For my case, if there's anybody from Laikipia here, I can attest that wanalipisha 550,000 per year to get that license to dump pale kwa your dump site. Also another question, on financial record, bookkeeping. The biggest challenge as a business person is record keeping. Being a waste management entrepreneur, unakuta nime collect waste, nime sort, nime recycle, ama nime redirect to people who recycle it. So those people, as you said, those people who recycle, hawafanyagi hizo biashara za official like banking, kwenye M-Pesa ama cash. So it is hard to record those records, I mean. And another question, and on your business, umesema unafanya waste ya toilets in kwa shule. Can you tell us a story on how you manage that waste, your toilet, to the end after the toilet? Then what next? Tafadhali.
All right. Thanks for your question. So your first question is the cost of dumping, and part of your answer is within something that you've said. You've said you have some partners who take plastic wastes, and then you pay them. So you have a collaboration. So my suggestion, because I understand, collaborations are very good in business. You're part of the program, right? There's a business canvas model tool within the thing. So when you're mapping out your partners and stakeholders, that could actually be a strategy. So definitely no small. So waste is a very regulated industry globally. And the entry, depending on the waste type of management, the entry level can be very low. It can also be very high. So in your case, the cost of dumping is very high, so therefore it's regulated. So my question to you, are you in a position to partner with the people who have the licenses? Then unawapelekea waste. Are you able to collaborate with them? Who has the license? Who has the license in Laikipia? Who has the license to go to the dump site? Huh? So is that dump site empty? No, is that dump site, there's somebody who actually takes the dump site? Only the county government. Are you able to partner with the county government? Yeah, so one of our responsibilities, and I relate with you because I said before I started this business, I was working in another industry where it was actually waste management of the same toilets, and there were very blurry lines. So part of the things as you as a founder is to negotiate. So for me, I see the opportunity for you to collaborate because definitely small businesses cannot afford, but it's a strategy. I can't have a one, it's a strategy that I am suggesting. It could be a possibility because I'm also curious, where are you taking the waste now? Mm. Okay, now I don't have a direct answer for you, but that is your industry. That is a point of innovation. You know, sometimes businesses are born out of necessity. So that could be a point of, automatically, I'm thinking maybe you can collaborate with the county government, but you're saying it is a bit difficult, and that is part of parcel of our journey as a business owner. Sometimes part of you being a business owner is to find solutions. So I can't stand on this stage and say I have an answer. I don't have a direct answer, but I think you can continue exploring what the other possibilities are. But I like the fact that you already have a solution halfway. You're separating, you're selling the plastic, you're selling the things that can be recycled. And then you'll exploit in your smaller group. You know, you're going into small groups. So park that for the smaller group. Maybe somebody else can have an idea. Or is there anybody else in the room who has a similar problem, and how are you solving it? There's a hand there. You have a solution or suggestion? Okay, awesome.
Okay, I think since I'm near his place in Nyahururu, we have the same problem because one of the challenges we have, most of these counties don't have a policy. The waste is owned by the health, and the trade also have the, okay, it is between, I think, four departments in the same county. So the challenge is, as well as us in Nyandarua, we have the problem because like now we have all waste dumped in one site, and they refuse with the waste. When we are going for it, and wanataka tu ikae hapo, nobody is to touch it. Now, the challenge we're having is we tried rappelling with the MCAs to try and work on, and then there's the new department. I think you should look for the guys who are in the climate change. They are trying to bring in between the guys, I think it's trade and health, so that they can allow those guys who are interested in the waste management to come in as a partners to respond to that. I think there's a bill going on in Rekipi as well as Nyandarua and Nakuru that is helping in that waste. So those guys within those areas, you should I think visit your administrators so that they can give you at least something going on.
So you're saying climate change is a potential area? Yes. Okay, and you brought in something very interesting, policy. So we are in a, waste management is a very interesting document because this is a time, even the government in Kenya is starting to decentralize it. So I believe over time it may get better, and maybe you guys can combine and actually start having lobby groups or pushing for policy change as an industry. Yeah, people in the waste management industry, it could be your call to actually go and have a discussion with governments in terms of policy change so that they can support your businesses. When you do your SWOT, I believe that is going to fall under your SWOT. Strength, opportunities, was it strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. Threats are external, and most of the time, we may not have control over it. We may. Mostly those ones are driven by legislation, etc. So that's a legislative issue. It's a policy issue. So the action for policy and legislation mostly is lobbying. So people in the industry may need to lobby. To your question on how the technology that I promote works, it's self-composting. So there's no need for me to go and remove it from there. Once somebody uses the toilet, it composts, it breaks down there, and then the outcome is organic fertilizer. So that's the technology that I promote. To your question of bookkeeping, I would encourage that you use M-Pesa as a way of record keeping, because then you're able to keep your records. And even if it's cash, petty cash. Remember have a ledger book. Got in the supermarket, just get into the habit. It's best business practice for you to just record that down. But if you can do M-Pesa, the better. And if you can have, do you have a till number? Okay, yeah, so M-Pesa would be more practical because you have the record either way. Or if somebody wants cash, just the ledger book, your traditional ledger book. Because that's one of the, you have to be inclusive as businesses as well, because if you're working in the informal settlement, maybe not everybody has a phone, maybe not everybody has an M-Pesa line. There are many dynamics. So you just revert back to, and it's totally fine for you to revert back to, this particular segment can be served with the books, with the ledger books. We have 7 more minutes, so I'm gonna take 1, 2, is there a lady in the house? 3? Okay, the one with the mic, yes. 4, yes, go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Daisy Nashipai. What are some of the challenges that you're facing right now, even after receiving the funding, you yourself? I will want to hear from you. What are some of the challenges that you're facing and how you're tackling them? Thank you.
Very practical question. I don't consider it a challenge because remember I said my business is capital intensive. So one of the biggest challenges that I've had is accessing that amount of capital, especially for a startup business. How am I addressing it? I still have a lot of belief in my business, and my retirement plan is to actually bring this business to full operation. But once in a while, I do projects, so I can identify an institution that requires toilets, I'll execute the project and then close it. So I operate on a project basis. Yeah.
Sorry, for you, it's directed to you. You want to provide toilet to a school. Let's say you get a challenge of the school doesn't want you to provide toilets. How do you go about that? Yeah.
So it may not be a challenge because we operate as a private liability business. So we go to the school, we sell, we do an assessment, we see how many toilets are required, we present a quotation. They say yes or no. So I will not ship in the toilets if I don't have a contract on my hand. But,
sorry.
Yes, but in my ideal situation, how I see my business in the future is I can actually have a warehouse, products there, mtu akitaka, kimbiza choo mbili pale, kimbiza choo, but I can't afford it at the moment. So that's why I operate on a project basis. Secondly, what I now do with the knowledge I have in information is I consult for startup businesses. So I have knowledge information, I have great and expansive knowledge in designing business models in the sanitation space, and I do a lot of consultancy as a person, and I still earn from that, and I take it back to the business or to a cause. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Elizabeth Nyaberi from Kajiado County, and my concern, I think, is a concern of many young people seated in here, because everyone would want to start up something, and I'm sure this is like a competition, right? But we all need mentors, because there are some people who are new, they're just starting a business, maybe they just have an idea of what they need to do. So I wanted to know, is there a mentorship? Maybe would we have mentors maybe before or after the funding? That is one. And can the Tony Elumelu alumni, maybe the network, come up and maybe mentor the people who are willing to get mentored? Because I'm sure there's a lot of confusion around the whole process. Thank you.
So that's an affirmative yes. We already have some mentors, alumni in the room, and the second part of this event will sit down in round tables or round groups, and they'll be able to support you in the journey. So that's a critical component. The overall question on how I answer mentorship, especially for the people who are in the digital economy, is you have the digital platform to actually follow. A lot of people who made it in business now share their tips online. So you don't have to be, one of my mentors, I say hey, he's my mentor, there's a gentleman called Strive Masiwaya. He's a big in telecom. I have followed that guy online for a very long time. And it is because I was very inspired by what he did. And that's why I even gave you examples. So identify somebody that you relate with and somebody you feel is successful. Follow their journey online. Most of them have been very generous because they may not have the capacity to train or mentor all of you. Follow me online. Follow me online. If you've been inspired by me, go on my social media handles, see what I do, how I do it. I'll be more intentional with the support of my social media manager, who's like, you do a lot of things, and I think you have the opportunity to show it to even our founder, the Tony Melu himself, amazing. He puts a lot of amazing content online for young people to really see what he's done and how he's done it. He's also been very transparent with his journey. And the right kinds of mentors. Yeah, because the internet can also be it's busy. So settle, angalia mwenye una like, settle, and then follow them. Because we actually still get influenced by everybody else other than the people who are doing meaningful things. Yeah, so tusishinde tu tukichukua selfie na.
Thank you. My name is Njoki. I think I wanted just to affirm what the people who are dealing with climate change and environment. And I think also one of the things is that some of these problems may not just be isolated to the area you're in. There are people who already have achieved that. So don't struggle. I know that Nairobi has done something on that because there's a time we worked with, I think Dr. Ayub Mashari or something, had come visiting on a project we were doing in the estate. Kiambu County also has done that. So if it is not working, and some of these things, by the way, when the government is implementing these policies, even them, they don't know. So you could be the person who will be that. And public participation is very important. Be on the lookout for whatever they're putting out in the environmental issues or other spaces you're in for public participation. Most of the decisions are made in the boardroom. Can you be part of that boardroom? Sit where decisions are being made. Make noise if possible. If you need us to help you make noise, we'll help you make noise. Secondly, I think when she was talking about mentors, I think in my journey of whatever businesses I do, I've realized I can only be one person. I cannot be a social media person. I cannot be finance. I hate finance. I only like the part where I receive money. That's the part I like. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I'm a marriage and family therapist. So can you get people specific to those areas? Even if you're a youth, some people are willing to sit down with you at no fee at all, or something very little. So don't be afraid. Say you need a finance somebody to help you to audit accounts, approach them. If you need a lawyer, tell them I have an issue in doing ABCD, and if I'm not able to, I can push you to somebody else. Don't die alone. We are here for you guys.
Let me point. Ebu ekeni mkono juu tena ndo to wrap up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we finish. Oh, kuna hapa nitakupatia 6.
Hi everyone. My name is Kennedy, and I have a quick question about insurance, the insurance part. My business involves, my waste management business involves machine operation. So I was wondering how I can quantify my insurance costs on the financial planning, and if they are urgent or not, because we understand insurance can be expensive. And when I'm doing it, will I be insuring the machines? Will I be insuring the staff, or how does it go? Or and at what stage should I consider taking insurance for the business? Thanks.
Okay, let me respond to that. when I cleared university or high school, insurance was one of the easiest industries to enter. Is there an insurance agent here? Is there an insurance agent here? And your things have changed. Anyway, so I would want you to engage an insurance company, because they'll be able to walk you through the different products and the different kinds of assets and risks. And then based on the quotation you're going to get, that will inform you the urgency of you either taking an insurance or not. Because again, it can, like we said, you're the owner of the business, you have to make business decisions. I can't make a business decision for you, so I can't give you a yes or a no answer. Cool? So check out, look out for insurance. I mean, there are many insurance companies in the space. Check out online, sit down with an insurance agency, walk them through what your need is. They'll be able to assess for you the risk, and they'll give you a quotation. So that quotation is what is going to make you, whether you'll have enough resources and information to take a business decision. So it is your decision as a business owner. At what point will you decide to go that direction, but speak to an insurance agent.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian. I'm also in the waste management space, organic waste specifically. And my question is, at what point do you, because you said you're a marketer, at what point do you invest in marketing in your company? And how much should you start with to be able to grow your sales? The next question is, I think this one should go to the UBA bank. I don't know if they're still here. Yes, so in terms of credit, also how has your experience been in terms of getting credit from banks as a young person and as a young business? Because mine has been not so good. And also, what has UBA done, or what does it offer as an incentive to young people to be able to bank with you and maybe gain access to credit without unsecured loans, things like that, or low interest rate loans, things like that? And another thing, maybe just to reiterate, how important is registering a business for a startup? I think you should also emphasize on that, because many young people want to start businesses and they have not registered their businesses, which is very important for many people, even for donors, to get grants and such things. Yeah.
Awesome. I love your question, and thanks for affirming and reiterating the importance of registering a business. For the first question, which was at what point do I allocate marketing? That's my sweat capital. My sweat capital to the business is marketing. So the current business that I'm actively running, we still don't have a salary yet, but as directors we earn an allowance. And that's what actually informed my decision of bringing in the co-founders. I looked at the strengths that I had versus the weaknesses. So my co-founding team that I invited was informed by the strengths they were bringing in. So there's a person who's very good with admin and bookkeeping, and there's a person who's very good with community. So my sweat capital to the business is the marketing. So our branding is top-notch, our communication is top-notch, and all that. So that's what I take to the business. But here is the thing. I still work with experts. So as a business owner, because we are at that level of the business, I don't sit down to do graphic design. I don't sit down to do social media marketing, though I have the capacity. I don't sit down to do this. So what we do is, as a business, one of the things we do, we design, like right now there's a product we are designing that, we are planning our market in August. If you meet me, if you come to my house, I have sketches of things, I'm putting the strategy in place, and then I've started marketing. But then, tomorrow I'm having a meeting with young people from the community to train them on marketing, and then subcontract them to go and sell because I can't stretch myself too thin. So I mostly invite young people, train them, and then deploy them at an affordable amount, a dignified amount. And even I mentioned, like right now, a young person approached me and said, "Can I manage your social media?" And I said, "Great." I know they're on an income. So depending on the level of business you're in, we said first tier is if you're in college, you have a guy who did marketing and they're sitting at home unemployed. Unaweza kunampatia gig ya sotano. You don't know accounting, your classmate was an accountant, now go home unemployed. And by the way, always count that as creation of employment. That's how small businesses create employment. So you may be thinking, I can't afford an accountant, but in your peer circle, there's an accountant, there's a marketer, there's a social media. So even as change makers, let's start creating employment in our immediate circle of influence. So if in your peers, enda kwa WhatsApp ulize nani ndo marketer hapa, ama ndo mse wa sales, you're going to get somebody who can empower. In terms of formal credit, Catherine will speak about UBA specifically. I've also not had a very good experience, but I have lessons. Part of the reason why this is a very new, it's a very interesting space because I think we're the first generation that is very passionate about business. Yeah, the generation of before us was kwenda kufanya kazi, go finish university, finish school, go and get a job. But then the reality is jobs are not coming by. So we are now creating jobs for ourselves through businesses. Now, we may not, first lesson is, like I said, I didn't know how to run a business, so I was just all over the place. And that's why my first question to you is like, how do you pay? So formalize, you may not be formal, but formalize that process of payment, such that if a donor comes to you, tasema, sina bank statements, lakini ndiko na hii kitabu. I have this book that I have all my records. Yeah. Secondly is formalize your business. If you want to have formal credit, formalize your business, let your money go through banks, and then you build that relationship with the banks, then they'll be able to support you. The kind of money I was looking for was too high, so of course the bank needed collateral. So I didn't have that kind of collateral, so therefore that's when I parked. However, I do know there's a lot of conversations that have been going out in the spaces. So for example, in Kenya, there's Youth Fund. Youth Fund still exists, isn't it? There's the Women Economic Fund, and a lot of banks that have products that speak to the youth actually are investing in youth with better products and facilities. And then the traditional, not really traditional, other alternatives includes other sources of grants. So confidently I can tell you, if you take this business plan and you internalize it and you start putting it into action, it will give you an opportunity to apply for other grants.
Excuse, I have a question.
Let Catherine respond to the UBA youth product offering. I think I had her mention Leo. Yeah.
Hi. I think there was a question around fastings. What a bank would be looking at from a lending credit perspective. And I think one of the very, very key things that Maureen has mentioned, documentation. When you come, the first thing a bank, any bank, and it's not just about us, is the risk rating of you as a customer. And your risk rating starts from where is your business? Where, what is your record keeping like? What is your turnover for your business? And it starts as good as even just the paper that she's talked about or an Excel sheet. What comes in and what goes out in your business? How will you be able to evaluate that this business is actually, say, profitable or loss-making? It is only when you have your documentation right. So part of even this business plan, as you're creating it, it's trying to tell you that you must, as a business, you must know where is your business headed. How and what are the costs for your business? What are how do you foresee your revenues ahead? So any bank will always want to know, where is your business? What is your form of payment? Say, for example, you're using M-Pesa. Are there records to show that this is the inflows for your business, or you just do cash? How can we substantiate it? So record keeping for banks is so key, because we use that to assess your credibility and your credit rating as a customer. So when we know your credit rating, then we are able to know this customer, this is the value of the lending we can get to this customer. So it starts with documentation. Secondly is also compliance. And when I talk about compliance, it touches on aspects of lending. Are you listed in CRB, for example? Why are you listed, So as an entrepreneur, as you build your journey as an entrepreneur, yes, it's been said that, oh no, this bank is not supporting me, but there are certain mandatories that you must meet as an entrepreneur. If you do not know what your business is getting, how will you know, say for example, how you're going to repay, say, a loan that you've been given? It is only through records that we are able to assess what your viability is as an entrepreneur for us to be able to support you. So I've talked about compliance. Right now, we are heading towards tax compliance. Are you tax compliant? Are you tax compliant with the little you have? These are very important aspects that a bank will always look at when they're assessing you. It is very important. You might say, no, I don't need to pay tax. But it is important because ahead, some of these questions will come in. It's part of the compliance aspects that the bank will look at. As a bank, you're sitting here and you're saying, okay, so how am I going to be tax compliant? Like right now, I'm sure you've all been hearing this conversation around e-teams. What is this e-teams? And that's where we as banks, so we go out there and we sit with people like KRA or tax experts to sensitize and help you create and understand, what is this e-teams? How does it work for me? What can I do? How will I be able to make payment? That's why we have to create certain capacity building initiatives as a bank. And right now we are actually, as UBA, putting up a robust, capacity building, not just for you. Where you see you can benefit, don't ignore. Just listen in. Ask questions. So for the youth, because there's a lot that's happening right now. This program is targeting 35 years and under. Who is it targeting? It's targeting that young person, that startup, that's someone who has just started to create and see, I have a business that can run. Of course, we have different sets of customers within the bank. There's the young, there's the corporate who is established, there's someone who is within the middle cadre. So different, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. When you come, the relationship managers will always, they first have to assess your business before they say, this is what will work for you. Maybe it is an overdraft, or maybe this is what will work for you. For somebody else who maybe has been in business for 2 years or 3 years, the solution is different. So there's no one size fits all. We have to assess your business, understand what that need is, and then a solution is provided based on the different things, your income, how your cash flows, all these things. So normally when you see a bank is asking for you for some of the things, they're not asking because they're saying, no, this one does not qualify. It is to understand where is your business and how do we support you. It is not just to throw something and then ahead it is not working for you. We must first understand where is your business, where is it going, and what will work for you. So it is not a one size fit all. I'll say that. There are different financial solutions, but they work for different businesses at different time. I think the aspect she's talked about Leo. Yes, Leo is for a young person, also a young business like yours, but there's different needs at different times. So, of course, there are different solutions. So for us, we keep saying, let us understand your business. But once we understand it, then we'll give you the solution, what works for you at that particular time. I think that's okay.
Thanks, Catherine. And I think also what Njoki said earlier on is decisions are made when you're on the table. And sometimes some of the changes that you want to see in the financial space, especially in financial banking spaces, is if you open an account and you become a customer, sasa mnaanza kungangana. Mimi nangangananga na banki yangu. They've not given me a loan yet, but tuko karibu kufika hapo. Because I've been consistent in the banking. At least I do know now M-Pesa has in it Fuliza, they have a Fuliza for business. Did you know? Yeah, so also M-Pesa has a Fuliza for business. Yes, M-Pesa has a Fuliza for business. They launched it, I don't know if it's already active, but they do. Till number. So if you have a till number, then you can access a business loan through that. So that's one of the importance of formalizing and using channels that have record keeping.
Okay, so I have a question considering the business plan, the financial part. So what are the key factors that the investors look so that they can gauge that this business will make profits, or this business, considering the variables, the way they change? So what are the key factors that these investors look to gauge the sustainability of the business? Yeah.
So investors look at sector. What sector are you in? So in this particular case, it's green. So you're already in because you're running a green business. Now, in relation to if it's idea stage, they look at projections. There's a bit where there's projections, And the example I was giving is going back to the bag example. You want to demonstrate that there's an opportunity and there's a market opportunity. So if you're an idea stage and you want somebody to invest in your business early, before anything goes, you'll be like, this is the business opportunity, and I would want you to give me 100,000 Kenya shillings that I can go and buy 50 bags so that I can go and sell at X amount of money and make this profit. And then once I sell these bags, I'll be able to give you back the money. That's number one. And then number two, now you start doing your projections. You'll say, remember the breaking down. So you'll say, in a month, I'm anticipating that I'm gonna sell X. And then if I sell X, this is how much I'm going to earn. And these are my business operations costs. This is this. At the end of the day, this is going to be the profit. So those are some of the things that investors look at. And then also your confidence in the belief. Sometimes we are asked, you, how much have you put in the business? You can't go to an investor and say, menataka na misina. So that's also the narrative you want to shift. So you can actually say, I'm putting in my sweat capital. Remember I said my profession is marketing. You can actually also tell the investor, I'm the marketer and I'm really good in selling and I'm really good in marketing. So therefore, I don't have the resources, but I'll put in my sweat into marketing and selling. Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon. My question is about segmentation. Is it possible to have more than a single segment in your business concurrently?
Oh yes, it is. I'm trying to look at a business that you can relate to. I'm avoiding big. Okay, so in the case of, you can have business segments running concurrently. In small businesses, it can be a bit hard because remember we talked about resourcing, but it is very possible. Let me use an example of waste management. There's a company called Taka Solution. Taka Solution. Taka. So I know they have two segments. They have commercial facilities where they work with malls and stuff like that. And then they have another segment which is residential areas. And the residential areas are high end. So you won't find them in a middle income or middle low income commercial. So that's an example in an industry. So it's very possible for you to segment, but look at the resources that you have. It's also okay for you to say, I'll start with segment 1. Once I make money, I'll move to segment 2. But just having clarity around your segments is great. I want to wind up the Q&A session.
Good afternoon. My question is about business plans. Once I've developed my business plan and I identified my clients and have received funding, and I found that it is not serving the clients' demands as expected, do I have the option of altering the business plan?
Do you have the option of?
Altering, coming up.
Of course, yes. You do have, business is a risk, and I think from today, I want you to do 2 things. Mukipata Wi-Fi na pia mukiasha bundles. I want you to follow the Tonel Melu page, and I want you to follow the founder, Tonel Melu himself, because he's run a business, but all his businesses are set up in Africa. So he understands the terrain of running a business in Africa. Forget about it may not work. Unaweza fungua biashara leo kesho ichomeke na uko na insurance. Business is a risk, that's what I'm saying. So my message to every business person sitting here, sometimes it will go south. Most of the time it goes south. You have the power to alter. Remember SMART objectives? S, specific, The R in that is always, it can be reviewed. Nobody will beat you for reviewing, but you'll be flogged for doing something that's not working. Yeah? If you take a product to the market, and sometimes I work in my day-to-day life, so sometimes we've done that, not in my business. The projects I've been part of, you take it to the market and then you realize where the instructions were in English and people only speak Kiluya. So they're not understanding what your product is about. What do? A friend of mine one day really made me laugh. We're just in the field. We have these products, we've taken them. This is way back when I was starting my career. So we've been given these products, take them to this market and everything. We go there, nobody could speak English or Kiswahili. Yet we had assumed we'll write there. So we simply now said, hey, wacha tutafute mahali kuna photocopy, tuandike na the local dialect, if it was the same guy who translated for us, and we just stuck them up there because we needed to sell. So as a business person, you have to think off your feet most of the time. Yeah. I think I can take, how many questions? Zimisha. That's fine. Okay, Sawa, thank you so much. I think we've wrapped up. Pack your questions if you have any more, and he'll guide us on how we're going to do the breakout sessions. I would want to see how many alumni in the house. I know I've seen Evelyn, I've seen Bernard, I've seen Linda somewhere. There's some alumni in the house. They'll come here and then we'll identify ourselves and then we'll do the small breakout session so that we can go into a deep dive of the business planning. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for that very informative session. Wow, I need you to stretch. I need you to stretch. Stretch, everybody. Lift your hands. Stretch, stretch. You can stand. Yeah, stretch yourself. Now to give a vote of thanks, I'd like to invite Brian Kerr from UNICEF back on stage. He'll give a vote of thanks, and then we'll now go to group work, group discussions. Are you finding this session very informative? Are you learning? And I love the questions. Let's appreciate Brian Kerr as he gives us a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Makofi kwa MC. So there's this way, once you cross to the other side of Uhuru Highway, we don't clap that side, we do this. We do it. Inakado, sindio? Makofi kwa MC. Thank you so much, MC. Thank you guys for staying over the session. Before I do the vote of thanks, any UBA staff in the building? UBA staff, can you see them? They can stand, they can wave. Sawa. If you have any question about UBA, any products you want as a young person, those are your contact guys. Secondly, we are coming to the end of the session. Not the end, but the end of the formal part of it, the first session. The second session is more of optional. It's going to be more of a need-based face-to-face engagement. There are some alumni from TEF who are here, who will be in groups talking to you guys. There is Eric who's here. If you want any help, guidance, or support, you can talk to him. I am here. They said you look for people you look up to. I am told, so you have to look up to me. So I am here. You can have the engagement together. I'm sure Catherine and some of the team members will be still around. So if you want any personalized support, the afternoon session is for you. On to the vote of thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Kwanza makofi kwa mkurugenzi hapa, si ndio? Salome, makofi kwa Salome. Watu wa preparatory na watu wa kindergarten. Makofi kwake. She's done an amazing job, right? Si ndio? Inclusivity is quite key. Where was I with the vote of thanks? Oh, I was thanking UBA. I was thanking the UBA Bank and everyone who's been able to make this their success. Thank you guys for honoring the invite. When you organize such events, the biggest fear is always you guys will not show up. But by you guys showing up, by you guys coming and staying over till this session, it's quite key, it's quite important. I hope some of you win. Most definitely not everyone will get the funding, but I hope most of you are part of this session get to access that funding. And I hope this session has been key and important for you guys. Have you found it interesting? Have you been able to waste your time or have given you constructive feedback? Sindio? So thank you so much for coming. We will just do a photo session on this stage. Tutawapanga ka Britannia, so don't worry about the arrangement. But all of you will come to this stage, we do a photo session, so that hata mimi nikiomoka mseme tulikuwa kwa picha pamoja. Oh, I was forgetting some people are supposed to appreciate the guys who have been using their own bundles and did not take tea on our bill, who have been online. Tupatie watu online makofi tafadhali. Yes, so all of you will come to this stage. We do a photo so that at least there is a means of verification that we trained you as well, but also tukiomoka msusahau. And then once you are done with the photo, we'll have a break of like 10 or 15 minutes. If you want to take a photo at the booth, if you want to take a photo at any of the signages, please do so. And if you are interested in coming back for that afternoon session, we'll be in this room waiting for you. We'll be able to arrange ourselves in a way that you can know any need or what you want us to help you with, you can come to that center. Sindio? And in the same energy that we started this training, we should end it. Sindio? Watu wa Godha? Godha? Hey, akini kuna mababi. Hi guys, you can come over for the photo session as we end.